Three, two, one, and welcome back to Chasin The Racin.
And welcome back to the podcast, sponsored by OMG Bennett. And our co-host for this evening is none other than Josh Corner, all the way from South Shields. And we ventured down to Nearly, France, to see the one and only British champion, Tommy Bridewell. How are we doing, son?
Yes, thank you. We're sat in my yard here, but I was just saying, obviously off air, then I feel bad because it's a long old drive for you guys. Fucking hell, you're the other side. Are we allowed to swear?
Of course you can. No, fuck that.
No, I was going to say, otherwise it's going to be hard work for me. Yeah, because you guys are like proper. Whereabouts you guys from?
Well, like, oh God,
right up country.
Right at the top end. We're practically Scottish.
Croft, basically, like half an hour north of Croft is probably the best way to put it.
I'm an hour and 15 minutes away from Croft.
Yeah,
and it's mad, isn't it? You just keep going, but it's nice. It's warmer down this part of the world,
and safer.
I love it.
And safer.
I would say that, yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Up your way, they tried to take, if a fucking jumbo goes too low, they tried to take the wheel off the bastard. Yeah.
And that's why they don't race at Croft anymore.
Exactly.
Simple as that. My God, I tell you what though, right? I know you've. How long have you been British champion? How long has it been? Two months?
Mid-November, innit? Now,
I tell you what, you're definitely the local hero, because 20 minutes down the road, we went through Bridewell Street.
Yes, yeah, named after me.
Is the Bridewell name coming down here? I feel like we're on Radio 3 here.
Yeah, we pulled into that road and it was really nice, and obviously loads of little coffee shops and stuff, and he was like, oh, it's really nice here. And he went, I wonder what this place is called. I was like, Bridewell Street, and he started laughing. He thought I was taking the piss, but it actually was on the sat nav.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? No correspondence to me, but I do obviously like to state that it was named after me. But no, definitely wasn't.
I tell you what, it's even better because we tipped it up on the drive, right? So I'm turning up in me only, how do we describe it? The travelling community pikey truck, didn't we? And there's Bridewell just comes on. What you doing? Oh, hello, Tom. What you turned up in this for? And then within seconds after that, right? Okay, I don't even know how to describe it. What did your friends pull out of the back of that trailer?
Yeah, so
what the hell was that?
Exactly. Yeah, you'll see it on social soon, I expect. But we've had a little Piaggio 8. Any of you guys that follow SA, the Guy Martin stuff and so on, he ended up building a Piaggio 8 with a bike engine in to race. So they race them in Italy. And I've always, me and Dad have...
race them in Italy?
Yeah, race them in Italy. Massive, like big championship stuff, yeah. So we've had this Piaggio 8 sat in the garage for years. Little Piaggio, like a original, genuine, beautiful thing. I saw this and I thought, do you know, the Bennett's builds it was who done it for us, BB. And I thought, fuck, they're not that far away. So I said to Dad, right, I'm going to destroy the ape and turn it into an absolute monster. So now I basically just gave him the ape and said, right, just build it. And now it's got a 675 Triumph engine in. And so you can imagine what.
The funniest thing was when you were wheeling it out, it just looked like, I assumed he'd had it done as an advert for the garage or something.
Yeah.
And then he started up and we both turned around like, what the fuck is this thing?
That? Yeah.
Oh, it was just like, you know when your mate's got a Citroen Saxo and the first one to put a dodgy exhaust on, it was like it was like cherry bomb. 100%. But honestly, the thing, like, you're gonna have to give them a shout out. That the work they've done.
Yes, phenomenal.
It's got your race logo in it. It's got Ollie's logo in it. Yeah. It's got absolutely and the bespoke exhaust on the thing.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. And to be honest, what I love about businesses like that is we gave them the 8 and said, right, we want to do this because this is what they do. We want to do this. Roughly, what's it going to cost? And he's like, oh, it's going to cost X amount. And then it turns out, like everything, it turns out that it was 100 more hours of work in so much more love, like blood, sweat and tears. But instead of going, oh, here's your bill for another X amount, they're like, look, we honour our... And I love that because I would happily pay more, but I hate it when people go, oh, we spent another half hour, so here's an extra bill, you know? It's just, I know the way the world is and I know it's what the world is become, but sometimes it's like you see these quotes about asking your mates, do us a deal on this. And you think, well, actually, you should be paying your mates what they want. It will more, yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, that's terrible because I've only just recently heard that one.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been doing mates rates for years. All my mates are just laughing at the pub going, hey, he's been doing that for reach rounds and wine gums, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, but it's true, isn't it? You should always, like, say, and they're a local business and they've done a done us a mega deal. So yeah, really chuffed with it. So literally, like you say, when you guys turned up, that was the first time we had seen it. So yeah.
So is that road legal then? Can you?
Yeah, of course it is. Don't ask questions like that on this podcast and expect truthful answers. Depends if I get caught.
The MOT is it's a 50cc.
Exactly.
It,
Right, oh, right, I get
it
you,
looks like
got you.
is that a tuk-tuk thing?
Yeah,
is
little
that
Piaggio.
what
Well,
it is?
the class is Piaggio 8. That's what they are, Piaggio 8. So anyone who's listening, yeah, Google Piaggio 850, and that's what it is basically. But yeah, and it's like, I think because it's on a like a historic V5, you don't need to obviously tax or MOT.
Tommy's dodgy book of tricks.
Exactly. Like a retrospective planning. Yeah, so all my vehicles are old things, but yeah, no tax, no MOT, no nothing.
It's got to be done. I'm just trying to think of what the next tip's going to be straight from here.
That's it,
Absolutely
yeah.
love it, man.
Christ.
I tell you what, you must be in like. Are you sick of this yet? People pestering you.
No, never. To be honest, I like doing stuff like these podcasts and so on because I like doing anything that I feel like I can. Granted, you guys have made the effort to come and take the long drive down here, but I know it sounds bad. There's a lot of podcast people out there now because they all think, oh, that's easy, I'll do that. But like we were saying off air, the commitment that you guys have to put in is massive, you know. So I like to be able to do stuff that I feel like I can. If this helps you guys, then I'm happy to do it and I enjoy to do it. And obviously because of obviously everything like me is in honour of my brother. So I race for Ollie, I've won the championship for Ollie and so on and so on. And then when Grace sort of reached out and said, you know, can you guys come down and do this? I know she's doing it in honour for her brother.
Yes.
So
Exactly,
I have a really strong connection with her because I know why she's doing it and I know why I'm doing it, sort of thing. So yeah, no, definitely not bored of it, and I can talk the back legs off a fucking donkey. I'm worse than you, nearly.
No, not that bad, son. Not that bad. But I tell you, like we
I've had to sit for 8 hours in the fucking car.
Without getting a word in edgeways. Between him and the radio, you're sat in silence.
Oh, it doesn't have a radio.
Oh,
It doesn't have a radio. We haven't got the budget for a radio in my forestry firm. Not a chance. But we were actually talking like very briefly about when the last time you were on. So we had you on episode 71. And you remember, I totally forgot where it was, but you said it was Alton Park.
Yeah.
It was Alton Park. And that episode was called Finger in the Folds.
Oh, that was it, yeah, because I learned how that was. I can remember because I can remember saying to you and Chrissy about how I learned how our foreign friends counted the money. And
you never did show us that trick because Chrissy went, you'll have to show us that.
Trouble is, it's all cashless now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can't do it without fucking 40 quid, two £20 notes, isn't it?
It's just like that with a PIN number instead now.
Yeah, it is, yeah. That's when we bought my first house, and me and Stacey, when we met and, you know, we saved up, bought our first house, everything, fucking mad, really. But my half of, let's say, our deposit, because we did everything 50-50, was like, I think it was 24,000 quid, the deposit we had to find. And I can remember saying to Stacey, I got £12,000 cash because I sold me van. And he was like, well, no, that ain't no good. And I'm like, what do you mean? I've never had a credit card, never had anything, you know, and we're only talking fucking, I don't know, what now, 15, what have we been, what have we been, 10, 12 years ago, I spent. So it wasn't even that long ago, never had a credit card. And it was only then when I went to get these mortgages and they were like, well, you don't have any credit.
No credit score.
Nothing. And I'm thinking, hey, I've never had a credit card. Surely that's good. So yeah, nowadays it's max out the credit card, buddy.
And on tuk-tuks and all.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, I feel like you've already answered this question, but what's the most extravagant thing you've bought after winning? No, I'll tell you what, before winning and after winning.
Oh, fucking hell. You gotta be...
There's a tuk-tuk sitting in your garage right now, and that's not the first thing. This is going to be interesting.
No, to be honest, I'm a little bit... I'm quite...
Tight.
No, not tight. I like to keep my feet on the ground. I'd love to be able to go into more detail why I haven't spent my championship winning. But anyway, I can't go into that, can I? Because that's that. But... what have I bought? Well, I got a barn. Bastards, literally this morning, Webcots, a friend of mine from, and they're down the road. He sent me a bill for 11,000 quid. But it's a nice barn, and to be honest, it's a hell of a deal at that. Really,
is that the barn that new steelwork behind you?
Yeah. So I bought that, and Stacey wanted a handbag, and I said to her, if I win the championship, I'll get her a handbag. So we went to Bicester. Luckily, it was Bicester Village, not so you get a fucking do up there.
Yeah.
And, but there's me thinking, God, that's all right. She wanted this bag for 500 quid. That was down from like 1,000 quid, and I think, fuck me, I'd come out well out of that, 500 quid. Anyway, sure enough, it turned into fucking 2 bags and a fucking pair of shoes, didn't it? So ended up about 1,500 quid. So I'm fucking having to have a whip around to save up.
By the way, this barn hasn't got a roof. It hasn't got any sides yet, so it's all been...
There's a story behind all of it, isn't there? Because the conversation I had this morning with my architect was I want to change of use the barn. So I've got planning permission for that barn to just get it built. But the reason it's kind of still a little bit like that is before I go too far with it, I want to change of use it. So it's like everything. It's like you get planning permission for one thing, get it built quick, let the dust settle, change of use, because you've got more chance of then getting a change of use, and then get maybe in future look at converting it into like a dwelling, you see.
I love it. I tell you what,
Do you know what gets me about that? Like, who the fuck's it actually bothering?
No, I know. Yeah.
No, you can't see it from the road. You can't. What the fuck?
Do you know we built our house in? If you follow Stacey on Instagram, when we built the house, she wanted to do this Bridewell build. So anyway, she done this.
Bridewell build.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Women.
They're actually very popular. Mike, just chuck us that laptop.
Sorry, I thought that was like an inside family thing.
Oh,
I didn't know this was a thing called a Bridewell build.
Like an Instagram page, wasn't it? So they like to
follow it, and
shit, don't they? So anyway, she's done that, and we built this lovely house, nice small house, because we didn't want a big house. It's me and Stace, 3 dogs, and one cat, because the neighbours nicked one of the other cats. And honestly, it don't come back anymore, fucking thing. So anyway, we built this house, beautiful house. Just before we change of material, so it was supposed to be cladded on the outside, and I wanted to brick it. Anyway, went to the council, change of material, all approved. The bastards obviously know it. They won't tell me who it was, but the fuckers waited for us to build the house, and then we get the council knock on the door, going, "Oh, by the way, you've either got a wood or clad the outside because you've built it against your planning permission. You were supposed to clad it." But it made me laugh because even the council had forgot that they had approved the change of use. So I then got me fucking paperwork out and said, well, here's the planning number, and then that was it, And it's a lovely, it looks lovely. So, but you get it. It's just the way the world is, isn't it?
Yeah, it just breaks. Yeah.
What fucks me off with all of it is we've got an 11-acre field. I've got a mini, tiny little pit bike track for my nephew down the bottom that you ride around on little CRF 110 things. You can't even hear him over a tractor lawnmower. The aggro I have got over that is unbelievable. The parish council are on at the Wiltshire Council daily to get me to flatten it. So I said to the council, fine, Wiltshire Council come around. I said to the council, fine, I'll flatten it, but it's causing no harm. We very barely use it. My nephew's 11, 12 years old. He uses it maybe once a week for 10 minutes and then he's bored, done. I said, I'll flatten it, but I've got a 450 motocross bike. I will build a flat motocross track around the whole field, and I'll ride every single fucking Sunday, even if I don't want to. So it's up to the parish council. Which one do they prefer? Anyway, I got to flatten it. They won't have it. So I told Wiltshire Council to take me to court in the end, because this is another little loophole. Most councils are brassic broke, so they cannot afford to take you to court. So if you call their bluff, they won't take you to court because they can't afford to. So
I tell you what, I don't listen. I find it too cringy, right? To listen back to podcasts, right? I can't, especially this pod. I can't hear my own voice. I'm going to listen back to this podcast so many times, writing notes like that, going right. Brass, is that a capital B? Brassic, absolutely skip. I love that people be tuning in, going, "Is this a motorbike podcast? This is even much better."
Yeah, but it is bollocks though, because you can where we live, everyone rides around on these electric fucking.
Yeah, I see
they're so dangerous.
Yeah.
I nearly hit one in a car. To be fair, I've got an electric car, but that's another story. They couldn't hear the fucking thing coming, and they've got no helmets on, nothing, and the thing's doing 40 mile an hour in the middle of a building, like in the street, like in an estate.
I see them in London, and the
Like,
police.
fuck.
They're so overrun now that the police can't do anything about it. So
Yeah.
they just go,
Yeah.
just get on with it. You know, you can you when you think when we were kids, I used to ride up and down the road on a motorbike, permanently thinking, right, no police, tear back. Now it's like, what's the police
just
in the
lawless, isn't it? Like, do what you want,
Yeah.
but you can't have a
barn
purpose-built
or a
little track.
yeah,
That's
I know.
it's ag, isn't it? You know, we can't
Training.
even. I've got to go to London for work tomorrow, and I want to go on a bike. And I was told you can't go on a bike because it will get stolen. If
Yeah,
you go to London on a bike, it will get stolen.
Yeah,
How fucking awful is that?
yeah.
It's horrendous, isn't it?
Got to go packing.
Yeah, I've got to go on the train,
Yeah.
basically. Which is anyway.
I'm just trying to go back. Like, it's amazing how the council can actually stop you from on your land.
Yeah, yeah, but I know it is. There is such thing as such, you know. Even though you own the land and so on, I get that there has to be rules because otherwise people would buy a field, build a house, and then whatever. So I do get it, but I gotta be honest. There's an element of fucking hell. There's an element of like let's go and say MotoGP the weekend. Digi Antonio finishes second, rides his ass off for 27 odd laps, and he's 0.1 whatever over the tyre pressure, so he's demoted 3 seconds off the podium. I get there has to be a rule, but there also has to be some form of what's fair and what's not fair. If you said to the other riders, right, is it fair to penalise Digi Antonio? They'd all say no. Let him keep his place. But the problem is the manufacturers obviously will turn around and go, yeah, penalise him. Because it's the game we're all in it with racing stuff. It's all about who can get that.
It's just a technicality, that, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, there's got to be a margin because you know, 1 psi even, maybe would make a difference.
It's not even 1 PSI.
It's not like a point, but it wouldn't make any difference, and they wouldn't actually risk it
No.
because it wouldn't be worth them
Worth it,
risking it,
no.
would it? So
Yeah,
like,
but would everyone not go to that tolerance and then they would have to move the tolerance further again because everyone will go to
Yeah,
that.
but
No, it's interesting. No, it's an interesting conversation.
that's why there's 10% rule when you drive and when you speeding.
Yeah.
Same thing, isn't it? Like if you're doing, I just think like you're not
Don't get
you're not-
yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as I was saying it. But like, there's one in BSB, isn't there?
Yeah.
And like, it wouldn't be worth the mechanic's job to even for what you would gain from doing it. Because you imagine a team owner if you got pulled off the grid for that. Like, you wouldn't risk it. So no one did that on purpose. That's like it would have made no advantage at all. Like very tiny.
And
Just
that's
a technicality.
exactly, and that's like say with a council. I get that there has to be a rule, but what also gets me is where does it's like everything. I can't have a little tiny track down the bottom, and when I mean tiny, it's tiny, like, you know, because it's now been classed as man-made earthworks or machine earthworks. So I can't have that, but I can fill me filled with manky old 40-foot curtain side lorry trailers or whatever I want, you know. It's such. So it is a bit of a farce, but that's where there's so many loopholes of it. I know of a friend. She bought a plot of land in Bath, beautiful plot of land, and the council basically said there is no way in a million years we will ever grant you planning permission. So sure enough, next minute there's 10 alpacas on the land, and alpacas are the only known animal that basically need 24-hour kind of surveillance and care, didn't they? Yeah. So before you know it, they have to grant you a static caravan, let's say, and now she's got a phenomenal house there because they have to grant you that because of these alpacas. That's partly why alpacas are actually really expensive, because of people know that.
That's class.
Yeah.
Your friend circle is
Yeah.
incredibly intelligent, actually.
No,
Like, do you want
we're
to get
not.
together on a book club and go, how do we screw the system as much as we can?
Yeah. Do you know?
Get an alpaca, Hinny.
Exactly,
What?
yeah.
Get an alpaca, I'm telling you.
It's funny, innit, how take my jumper off. You know certain things about stuff. I know a few bits about motorbikes, and about this lot sort of tackle.
Clutch out, go, but get an alpaca. I love
Yeah, but I don't know. If you said to me, who's in fucking power in the government, or what's the Labour Party, or what's cause I wouldn't have a clue. about anything of that. I don't get involved. It's like all the gas and electric and all these prices now. Stacey goes on at me, God, electric bills, da 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 da, and I'm thinking, oh fucking hell, what are we gonna? We can't do anything about it, can we?
No.
But I'll put solar panels in or something, but we'll get a hockey.
I wouldn't put it past it. I can't wait till next year. 100%. We'll just do this revisit. We'll be like, don't worry about the distance.
Remember the Daily Mail article? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely downloading that.
Yeah.
Grace will have to find that. But could you put a solar farm?
I don't know what the rules are. I have to have a look into that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, sell it to the neighbour at a premium.
Yeah. I don't know. We're south facing, so it'd be a fucking good one if it was. So yeah, solar panels maybe, and they're ugly as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
just put it on the pit bike track.
that's what I do. Yeah.
And the best thing is, if you put it off the ground, you can. How tall's your nephew? Just go underneath
fucking
it.
round
Supercross
it,
track.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could ride your motocross bike around there if you didn't make a track, though.
Make a track, yeah.
You just make it with the bike as
Yeah,
such.
exactly. Yeah. If I didn't make with a machine the track, then I'd be fine.
You can make a flat track.
Make a flat track, ride 7 days, 24 hours, fucking whatever.
Can't stop you.
Can't stop me. Nothing you can do about it.
Fucking ridiculous,
Yeah.
isn't
I can't wait to see. Are you going to do it? Please do it. For the listeners. Think of the listeners. They just want to see it. Get it on Instagram.
I've come under a lot of fucking stick recently because of, I know we'll obviously end up touching base on it, but because of the way the racing ended up going, I try to always be open and honest. I try to speak my mind and I try to show who I am. I'm never anyone different in front of a camera or behind or whatever. But this fucking last few rounds I've got a lot of grief. And it's made me realise that maybe the way the world is becoming, I've become a little bit unsync with it, and I need to start playing the political game a bit better in a bit. But it's boring, isn't it? It's boring. You know, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't.
What makes you feel like you have to change? Is that in your
just people message me now because of something I might have said, or I'm arrogant because I've won the championship and I'm an arrogant bastard. And the messages I get,
People like go out of their way to message you.
Yeah. I had a bloke message, not directly. It was a comment on a video obviously put out the other day, basically saying, you know, good riddance, absolute I think his words were, I can't fucking stand the bloke. And I know you've never met me, you've only seen what you've seen on TV or whatever, and like I say, granted, some people like you, some people don't, but I like to try and be who I am, whether it's comes across correct or incorrect. I don't ever believe I'm arrogant. When I'm in the racing paddock, I'm focused, and sometimes it can become across a miserable bastard because of the pressures of what I'm trying to do. But when I'm here, there's none of that. Nothing. You know, I'm just me. You know, I couldn't care less if we. You know, I got an old Suzuki car. If you want to go and roll it in the field, let's fucking. Do you know what I mean? Sounds stupid. Let's just go and have fun. You know, I'm not materialistic. I couldn't care less about anything. So I got me Primani jeans on £10. Fantastic jeans. Honestly,
Sport mode Crocs.
Exactly.
They are impressive. They are impressive.
Yeah. So yeah.
When do you feel like that took a change for you then? Do you feel like, because, to be blunt, because you're winning the championship, you're leading it, we'll have to go back to the beginning, like when Paul first signed you for the year, but let's talk about, when did that become very apparent it started to change?
The last 3 rounds, really.
Really?
Yeah, because everyone likes an underdog. So everyone likes that. Oh, Tommy, he's on the Rapido Ducati and he's got an outside chance, and what a lovely lad, and we always want the underdog to win. Whereas going from the underdog to not necessarily the favourite, but equal favourite, you're not that underdog anymore. So it's, fuck, right, who do we pick? Do we pick Glenn? Do we pick Tommy? Then obviously the mind games come in, and then obviously the antics on track and the antics off track. I put a video out. I apologised after Alton. I was frustrated with the race control. The decision they made to penalise me after the safety car was incorrect. And I stand by that. I've told him that, and I'll never change my mind on that. I know that for a fact they were incorrect, is because so many world champions, ex-world champions, current racers, ex-racers, top racers all say to me, that you've done nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. And like you say, every racer and everyone will have their own opinion, and I appreciate that. But if I done something maliciously, I would openly, gospel honest truth, I would tell you right now, my data, my brake pressures and my throttle trace show different. You know, people can't, and people don't see that. And that's unfortunately what we can't say. Go on, jump in.
No, I'm just wondering why can't they release that information? No, it's interesting.
Yeah.
When there's an argument from that side, because at the end of the day, from a spectator's point of view, we saw something totally different. We weren't on the bike,
Yes.
and there were other riders in that situation. It's like one of our friends, Christian, was in that pack behind you. So there's that many different stories going round. But it's interesting that you said the data's there.
Yeah.
Why is that not being?
It's funny because when we talked about it, we all had like very conflicting opinions. Like I thought it was wrong, to be honest. I thought it was. No. To be fair, it's actually what you said was really.
My lad.
what you said was really interesting though, but not maliciously, because I don't think anybody who rides at that level ever does anything deliberately to hurt or maliciously. But my view is that it was just a mistake.
Yeah, and I get exactly that. I get what you're saying. And I appreciate your opinion. You're fucking wrong.
Get off me land.
Yeah,
but you sort of thought the same. Because there was so many different camera angles and stuff, and so to put it into context, let's say safety car comes out. I'm leading the race. I got the pace to win. Anyway, I go on to win the race, but you have to now, as we've seen at Brands Hatch with Jason O'Halloran, safety car comes out, first left-hander, bang, he crashes. So if you don't keep the temperature in your tyres, you are going down. You know what Alton Park last corner's like. There's been some massive high sides there. So you have to be careful, really careful. So come round Druids, the corner before, accelerated hard, got the tyre as hot as I could, but I'm never going to go that early. No one would ever go that early. Every racer would know that. Wind it on a little bit. What made it look worse is obviously Ryan Vickers had a lack of concentration and come fucking barrel rolling up the inside. Lee Jackson and Glenn then start waving their arms. So obviously it highlights the problem. There was a big chain reaction, wasn't there?
Yeah, if Ryan didn't go howling through and people weren't waving their arms, and it was, let's say, classed as, that was close, there wouldn't have been a problem. But because everything was highlighted, it makes it look worse. But anyway, I come around there, going into the last corner at Alton, my brake pressure would be 12 bar, 10, 11, 12 bar, something like that.
And what do you normally brake at, just for listeners?
No, that's what it
That's what you're saying, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then going into that corner under the safety car was 2 bar. So 2 bar, a brake pressure for a racer is fucking like breathing on the brake, it's nothing. But apparently I braked heavy. Arguably there was a spike of brake pressure, but that spike only went up to 2 bar. So if I spiked the brake pressure to 10 bar, perhaps I'm in the wrong. But yeah, so it was an incorrect thing. But I thought, that's what made me fucking cross. And I didn't see the long lap until the checkered flag. Was it checkered flag lap or 1 lap to go? Maybe it was 1 lap to go.
It was 1 lap to go, I think.
1 lap to go.
It was difficult, yeah. It was at the end of a race as well, wasn't it? It's difficult.
No, that was it. I saw that I had the long lap on the checkered flag. So I knew, even though I had won the race, I saw long lap or whatever, and I thought, there's no way in a million years that will stand. So I was absolute adamant that the penalty would just be, oh yeah, okay, we see your point. But no, that was it. And then I was outright told, no, you're not allowed to appeal, because I wanted to obviously appeal it. I asked the team to go and appeal it for me, and maybe I should have gone and done it myself, in all honesty, because perhaps I would have fought it a bit harder. But yeah, it just, that was it. Kind of took it on the chin, and yeah.
Because was it Alton Park that led on to Donington? Is that correct?
Yeah, and then obviously then
there was the collision at the top. Now the mad thing, as far as if you weren't racing, take your total element out of it.
Yeah.
You've got to admit, from a spectator's point of view,
yeah,
you and Glenn and that whole championship this year is a spectacle alone.
Made MSVR wealthier than they already are.
Without it, but it's like let's. I tell you what. Now that we're tearing you apart before we build you up, let's talk about that reaction at Alton Park.
Yeah.
Now, was there any specific? Now, I know you're saying you won't change your opinion, and rightly so. You know, you haven't. But would you change anything in that scenario? Your reaction, or
of course you'd have to, because I've learned. It's like you say, you have to learn in life. You have to learn from any mistake, anything you feel or whatever. I will not learn from my from what I've done, but I've learned how the rules are played is such. So all of a sudden, instead of me going, right, okay, so I didn't do anything wrong in my mind, in my opinion, the data shows the same, but okay, I'll have to just do it slightly different next time. And that, going back to me getting a bit of stick over social media, is because I'm apparently become arrogant because I don't just own up. I don't just take it and go, oh, okay, yeah, I was wrong at Donington because I hit Glen off, and I was wrong at Alton Park. Because I've not gone on and said I'm wrong, then I'm the arsehole, I'm arrogant, I'm this, I'm that. But I don't. Why would I go on and say, oh, I'm wrong and I'm sorry and I don't apologise or if I don't believe I'm wrong? If I've done something wrong,
then fair enough.
I'd 100%. I hit Jason O'Halloran off it last year at Alton Park. I said on camera, Jason was slow up over there. He was, because of the natural way he rides is let's say slowish in, but real strong mid and exit. I took the opportunity and thought, fuck it, let's go for it. And I hit him off. It was my fault. He didn't ask me to hit him off. So, you know what I mean? So that's that. And really going back to Donington, going to Donington, Glenn didn't hit himself off, did he? I hit him. So technically I'm the one in the wrong. But if I'm going to take it on the chin, I'm also going to view my opinion and view my point that when I come from dead last on the grid to come up to lead the race within 10 laps, we're racing in British Superbikes. It's not possible. I'm fucking good, but not that good.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? It's just not possible. So for me, it goes to show that the pace was very slow. That was set at the front of the race. But for me, I was lapping low 28s on my own coming through traffic, which is races we know at round Donington is fucking hard going. My problem is when I got to the front, I'm still riding in that groove. And because I was riding in that groove, I then just braked where I was braking. Again, makes me sound like I'm trying to cover my ass, but I actually went into that corner 2 kilometers an hour slower than the lap before. So it's not like I outbraked myself. Because most people go, you can see he outbraked himself. I didn't. I went in 2 kilometers an hour slower. But Glenn and Carl were having a bit of a ding-dong at Foggies, doing their own thing. I was sat in third. I thought, do you know what? I thought to myself, I've got like 8 laps still to win this race. No problem. I can just pounce when I need to pounce and go when I need to go. But I got sucked in. If you watch the GP a little bit, you see like Martin or Pecco in the last few races that you do get sucked in, because Pecco and Martin were braking where they were braking normally, and all of a sudden someone's braking a little bit earlier or slightly different to you in front, and you get sucked in, and I fucking hit him off.
If you and Glenn weren't championship contenders at that exact point, and that incident happened, do you reckon you would have got any slating?
No. You would have done,
No, but the mad thing is,
it definitely dramatised it, didn't it? Yeah.
Well, like prior to that at Alton Park, for example, you were sitting 4th in the championship when we interviewed you. But then if you went from the back of the grid and you marched through like that, and an incident happened.
Yeah.
It's the heat that, like, it's borderline like the pantomime villain, the hero. It's a bit like, look at that for a minute. But then it's because you couldn't. I remember my dad ringing us. Now, my dad doesn't ring us at all. My dad rings when the 2 championship leaders have just bowled each other off. It's like, what the... like you say, MSV were just sitting there with a ticket gum and money coming out of it.
It was a spectacle. But
Jesus,
what's really frustrating when you looked at all the comments and stuff is I feel like it's a football mentality that's like creeping into our sport, which I hate. Absolutely, it's fine to have an opinion, but so there's no way. like for me, that incident was it happens. Like people get it wrong, like whatever. Like no one fucking deliberately crashed into anybody else.
No,
like,
because I was lucky to not get injured. So was Glenn.
Yeah.
So again, technically speaking, all we're doing is handing our championship over to our
rivals. Yeah.
So from PBM's point of view, it was a disaster. For me, for my championship, and for Glenn, for his championship, it's a disaster. So there's no malicious intent at all. Never would be, because we know the risks. But it is exactly like you say, that football, let's say, element is creeping into our sport. And also what made it worse was the antics, let's say, from the round before. So obviously I swore on circuit. I shouldn't have done it. I apologise. And I was wrong. Glenn obviously went on to say his bit on camera. So obviously it rolls me up. But the problem I've always argued with is the worst thing people can do is roll me up. Be my best mate. Almost kill people with silence, is that saying, isn't it? And that's how people should do it. Because be my best mate, and maybe I look upon you slightly different, roil me up, and fuck, you make a rod for your own back. And unfortunately, that's what Glenn done. He made a rod for his own back, to the degree where the comments within the garage, the comments on camera, on social media, all of it magnified everything. But I wouldn't ever sit here and say something that I don't feel someone should be entitled to defend themselves. So I don't want to sit here and say, point fingers, because I know it won't go down well. I can't voice my opinion completely truthfully.
Well, this isn't recorded. Say what you want now.
No, exactly.
You said that now. Now I'm panicking. That's the button.
That'd be grand.
Red lights are on. Yeah. So it was a tough last 3 rounds. Fuck me, was it tough? But not for the reasons I expected, to be honest. Just
It's the thing. Like, as far as the year's concerned, like Jordan's lost a father, so was Frank Jr. and the team. You've lost a boss. You're thinking that atmosphere is just beyond nuts, because then you've got. I don't mean to sound demeaning, but the antics of it, if you know what I mean. It's like it's hard racing, but then it's almost, it just looks as that I think you can't write this.
Yeah, the whole thing the momentum of the whole thing just went and went and went, didn't it? And it was
because leading into that, you've signed for I almost want to go. I think we're so far down this rabbit hole now. We can almost. Well, we'll definitely go back to the beginning.
If you want to wind back.
No. It's interesting. When you sign for Paul Bird, you've done years with the Ducati, and then you've jumped to the Paul Bird. 8. How many championships have they won?
They were 8. Yeah, 8. I was a 9th. Yeah,
you're 9th win. You know what I mean? You're thinking, this is me. Was that the feeling?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
this is me chance.
In my contract was I said, I wanted the latest spec 2023 Ducati V4 RF. So I knew the bike was to the latest spec. I requested that I would be with the factory Ducati technician, which is obviously my crew chief Paolo. There was elements of it that I kind of, when I signed, I made sure I was signing for what I believed was going to be a competitive package, because it's no secret PBM have been off the ball for the past 2 years. And I didn't want to go and sign for PBM and be in that same boat of what obviously their 22 season. People go that they had a bad 21, but they didn't. Christian did a mega season.
He won a few races, didn't he?
Well, it was going into the last round. It was Taz, me, him, maybe Jason, or a few of us still, mathematically still able to fight for the championship. So 21, Christian still had a good year.
So what was that when you were riding Oxford Ducati?
Yeah,
at the bike. So. And you saw the Paul Bird bikes. Because were you the leading Ducati that year?
Yeah, I think
you should probably dial it back and ask a different question, because we're going
further and further back. I just roll with it.
So you've been on the Motor Rapido Ducati for 3 seasons.
Yeah,
two and a half.
Halfway through 18.
Yeah,
on the old V
twin, and then
19, 20, 21,
Yeah.
22.
We were saying on the way down, so there's when you could have still won the championship, you and Taz were battling on the last race, or the last day. What was the difference between that and where you are now? So you've won a championship with this.
Yes.
What? And I appreciate it won't be one thing. It'll be a combination of.
Yeah. Do you know the biggest thing was probably more self-belief, more belief in my package. Wilf is a great guy. I think he runs a fantastic team. The bikes were prepared with Baz and Joe in the crew meticulously. Didn't miss a fucking beat. Didn't miss a beat. The one thing I perhaps, if I was to put a small bit of criticism, was engine-wise, Baz builds, and they are never miss a beat. Fucking fantastic. And I don't know for a fact, but they never seemed quite as fast as what the PBM engines were. And I don't know if that's because potentially Oxford or Motor Rapido might run tolerances a little bit safer for reliability or what, I don't know. But yeah, that was the only thing. But yeah, self-belief was the biggest.
And like leading off from the Ducati, your Ducati at the time of the Oxford bike, is that what you saw at that point? You thought the PBM bikes are just that marginally quicker, even though you saw the performance not there. It was an interesting jump for both you and Glenn. Glenn was actually, to be arguable, it was a bigger shock in that side, because he went from there and it was quite frosty, shall we say, with Paul. It was very frosty on that side of things, and the fact that you both signed was like, where did that come from? It was actually refreshing. It was like,
I think as the team were coming off such a bit of a bad run as well, weren't they, for whatever reason.
On paper, Christian still had a very good year in 21, but as a team, they would probably look at 21 and 22, which is unfair on Christian, but 21 and 22 weren't their most successful years.
No.
22, fucking disaster.
Yeah.
With Sykesy and Brooksy, absolute disaster. It was all down to the engines. The both riders told me, but I had the same engine. Yes, I had the new fuel tank and I had a different centre of gravity in a few bits and pieces, but the engine was exactly the same. It was down to the cams. So the cam profile, which is what makes the engine aggressive or smoother, that's what they were saying. But I just think both riders didn't quite have that bit between their teeth. They weren't willing to push perhaps what they wanted. I don't know. But for me, jumping on to the PBM bike, when Paul phoned me, like I say, that's why in my contract I was like, look, I've got the latest spec bike with Motor Rapido. In 2022, my bike was the latest spec bike, but I didn't have the factory technician and maybe a little bit of self-belief and a little bit of belief here and so on. So going with PBM, 9 times British champion, they know how to win a championship. I've got the latest 2023 spec bike. I've got the factory technician, which is a fundamental for the team.
Yeah.
Fundamental for the team, not just for me. Paolo turns up with the Magic laptop, and it shows you everything. That bike, you kind of go, for example, the centre of gravity of the bike. The absolute perfect window is 25.8, let's say on numbers. Exactly. So we'll go, right, we want to run a short wheelbase and we want a harder rear spring or something. Doing that, we'll change that. That 25.8 might go to 26.2. So we know the bike doesn't work in that window before I've even rode it,
Yeah.
So then we have to, with the data and with the Magic laptop, shall we say, have to then find out how we can run a short swing arm, hard rear spring, but also with a 25.8 number. And that might then be raising the front or, fucking hell, you go on for hours about the technical side. And that's where he come in, and we kept things simple. I had the belief in him, in the team. And honestly, under Paul was pleasure, absolute pleasure for definite, a joy to ride for.
Because is that the first time you've rode for Paul Bird?
Yes, yeah.
It is, yeah. So it's a bit like, was that quite intimidating?
No, well, slightly, but not really.
Because I'm going to be honest, like the best thing about you is the fact you are fiery. You know what I mean? It's like there's some bullshit, bollocks to you, and then you've got Paul Bird who didn't exactly tolerate bullshit, and you thought this is going to be great. It was in the fact of if these two can get along, anyone can get along with that. Now I did know Paul on a personal level. I knew Paul, but it was in the same breath of like, no, yes, and you're going, no, yes, and the stubborn nature. But that's that's the pantomime I'm talking about.
Yes.
No, people that don't know you, and I don't know Paul, and I don't know you, and you think from the outside looking in, you're thinking, this is just, on paper, not going to work.
Yeah.
And you've proven that wrong, haven't you?
Yeah, but he was, I'm like everything. He was, if someone shows me the focus and drive in the commitment that I put in, then I'm 100% in, and he showed me exactly that. And to be honest, he was really good. He wasn't quite sure to start with about my, should we say, my banter, because I like to just fuck about really, but when I put my helmet on, I'm serious. But he was a bit,
the north-south divide, so Cumbria versus
exactly.
Devon, wherever we are.
He was a little bit like, he didn't quite know how to take me. I can remember when I first round, I obviously ended up on pole, and it's Saturday night up in hospitality. The team's gone from having a disaster 2022, starting 23, bang, new bikes, pole position, and they're like fucking, literally, it was so cool to see. And then I'm in hospitality with a beer in my hand Saturday night, round one, and he walks up the stairs and he literally stops and he looks at me, bottle of Corona in my hand. I think, oh fuck, am I not supposed to drink? I don't know. I like to have a beer of an evening, one or two sort of thing, and that's that. And I think, oh well, fucking too bad if not. I ain't gonna change, so that's that. And he basically just come up to me and he said,
someone's gone through the letterbox. That was the previous episode.
Oh, was it?
Anyway, carry on.
He said to me, do you know what? He said, you're the only rider, I think Shaky used to have a bit of red wine, but he said, you're the only rider bar Steve Hislop that would sit up and have a beer with like his crew and sort of thing, and job done. So, and he often said to me that there's so many traits that reminded him through me of Steve Hislop, which was nice, because when we're all younger and you follow your Steve Hislops, don't we? What a person, what a rider, what a racer. In some of the stories you hear, it's just fucking brilliant. Through Rat Boy, like Stuart Easton and them guys, obviously knew him a lot better than I didn't really know Steve at all. But it's nice when you're kind of not put in the same, almost like put in the same breath as someone like Steve Hislop is, for me, is mega. And obviously coming from Paul, who knew Steve better than a lot of people. So yeah, it was a really good friendship I think I had with Paul, and really sad times. Still sad now, forever be sad. But I think, like everything, you look at the positives of what he put into racing, all the years, in the financial commitment, and so on. It's just, you can't fault him, can you, really?
So, like, starting off so strong, the friendship, the results, everything, and then how bad would that have been? Not just for you, well, no, in fact, just for you, if you lost that championship. With them.
What a fucking question.
It is. No, it is.
No, I know what you mean.
No. It's painting such a hell of a. It's like every good film, innit? You know what I mean? It's like, this is going great,
and then someone dies at the end.
Did you ever? So it's interesting to hear you talk like that, because
it hasn't answered my question yet.
But it's you're almost sort of saying, I've been runner-up on the Ducati with this team, with this stuff. Actually, what I was looking for was just a little bit extra. You got to make a change.
Yeah.
You found this little bit extra. That gave you a bit of belief. Was there any point when things were starting to go not wrong, but like these things were happening? Did you ever think,
I've stuffed it?
Did you ever think, I'm not going to not win this championship?
No. Do you know? It kind of it's like double barrel sort of question, in it, because really, in 22, 21, I probably didn't have the self-belief that I was and could win the championship. So I know it sounds terrible to say I train exactly the same as I do now, but I probably accepted, I don't know if I'm going to win the championship this year. I'll have another go next year. And then, and so on and so on. Where this year it was different, because I knew I was going to win the championship. Not through a cocky way of saying it, but I had that belief. I had the package. There was no reason why I couldn't win the championship. And because I had that mentality and I had that self-belief, it all aligned, you know. And kind of touching on Glenn's behind the scenes quite vocal with how he likes to manifest. Fuck me, I'd never heard of what that was until he says it in every sentence. I just thought fucking good old hard work was key about winning, but it seems you got to manifest everything now. But yeah, so he basically told me openly that he doesn't worry because he knows he's seen that he wins the championship. So then I'm thinking, well, we fucking both can't win it. You know, if you've manifested that you've won it and he's meditating and he's seen that he wins the championship, that's just why I'll fucking go home. I'll start again next year. So it made me chuckle, really. But yeah, obviously.
But when you go to half a point at the end of it, that's fate lined up fairly.
It's kind of
like a fag.
It's kind of like the same thing, isn't it? I guess maybe some people can be a bit more like spiritual about it or whatever you want to call it, but it's that self-belief, isn't it? Yes. However you obtain it or however it comes.
Whether it's manifesting, whether it's hard work, whatever.
Yeah,
when it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you training, running down these lanes or I don't know how you train, but whatever your training is on a Monday morning, you're thinking about who else is training or whatever's happening or
and that's what kind of pisses me off with this. There'd be a lot of people that will listen to this and go, no, it's a thing, and I get it, it's a thing. I get it, but hard work is a thing as well, and hard work is something that is done me well, and that's the way I would always do it. I'm not gonna go okay, I won the championship this year, but now I'm gonna try something different and I'm gonna start manifesting to win the championship next year, to defend it. But I don't need to, you know. All I need to do is keep a clear mind, focus on myself, and then it'd be fine, really. So
Was it more beneficial having a teammate this year?
A fast one.
Yeah, a fast one for sure, because you want to beat each other equally, don't you? You know, you want to beat each other. You want that dick swinging kind of right. You want the top Ducati and so on. But technically, data wise, it made no odds to me because I just done my own thing really with my own crew.
Have you not seen Glenn's data either?
It doesn't.
No. It's an interesting thing because I know you're saying about like one side and another, but it'll be from a Nebby point of view. I would love to see how different those bikes are because you've got your magic window.
Yes.
I'm going to get his name wrong. What's his name? Pablo.
Pablo
Escobar. Yeah, I've got the budget.
Exactly that.
No, but like, was he a crew chief for the both of you, or was he just yours?
Me. Yeah,
just yours.
Yeah, just mine. Yeah. So Paolo is Italian.
What's your Italian like?
Exactly. Si. Mi chiamo Tommy. Tucci me le palle.
Better than I can't.
Do you
even
know
speak
that
English?
is?
Nah.
Suck my balls. Tucci me le palle. That's about all I know.
Let me just put that in the Tommy Hints of life.
Exactly.
book,
Yeah, that's about all I know. No, I know a few words, but he's Italian. One of my main mechanics as well, Carmine, is Italian. So Italians are very different. They're very passionate about success, and they are very passionate about how we and they can get that little step up. So me and Paolo worked quiet. We worked for ourselves, obviously, because I'm not there to succeed for Glenn as such, you know. If he finished second to me, then brilliant for the team, brilliant. Yeah. But obviously I'm only focused on myself. But yeah, me and Paolo would kind of keep quiet, do our own thing. Obviously all the data is open. So for example, Glenn and his crew chief were able to see what my setup was.
Oh, so that information was transferable between. Oh, yeah. Right.
So
did it bother you that? Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end, it did. Yeah. In the end, it did. To the point where I told Paolo to just tweak a few bits. Donington I rode different until the race, actually, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. So what they see on my data was different to what I actually raced. gears and everything, you know, which seems a bit radical because you think, fuck, why are you riding FP1, FP2,
potentially
FP3,
damaging your own performance?
qualifying? I think qualifying, my one qualifying lap I might have rode how I knew how I was going to in the race, warm up different, and then in the race my gear pattern was quite dramatically different. My throttle trace, everything, so quite funny because it's the only way you.
How did it?
Yeah,
you know,
I wasn't expecting you to say that, but I'm not surprised because.
How did it?
But think about
every track in this country is different. Every time you get on, everyone's chopping springs out. That is incredibly impressive. The fact that like sandbag, go.
But Donington was slightly easier for me because Paolo turned up with the laptop and said, right, Alvaro setup and Alvaro gears and Alvaro and Petrucci and Rinaldi
who's the
other Ducati guy?
the Go 11 one.
No, he signed for Kawasaki.
Oh, Alex. What do you call him?
I want to say Bassani. Is it Bassani?
Yes.
Oh, Bassani. Yeah. A bit Japanese. No, so he's Italian, but
I'm glad you cleared that up for everyone there.
So and Erta is like every Ducati, they're all, because they're under the supported banner.
They get all the data.
So we analysed all the data Thursday night, Friday morning, and said, right, Petrucci is going gear X here, in throttle here, in roll, braking earlier than what I was. Less brake pressure, but a lot faster mid and it's weird, really. So,
but with the electronic package they could use, could he separate that?
Yeah,
that's even more impressive when you think about throttle trace. When you're going in with full traction capability, and they're just going bang, and your throttle trace is like, I can do that.
Yeah, but they know, this guy knows like.
Oh no, that's
the differences that it has on he'll know that, would they?
Yes,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
exactly that, and so we were like kind of looking at RPMs of, yes, electronically they've got obviously a lot more to play with, but his RPM is, let's say, 9,000 at the 9,000 RPM at the apex in X gear. Will my gearing allow me to do that? Magic computer, yes, my gearing allow me to do that. So we know that I can run the gears and I can run the so on, and it made life easier. So kind of sort of branching a little bit off of what your question was, but it did annoy me, like I say, at the end, but that's part of racing, isn't it? It's part of being
I don't think anyone was.
Of course it is,
I don't think. I was surprised to hear you say that you actually changed things. That is really good. But the
Lexi is going to be more interested in these riders listening.
But I'm not surprised though, because you know yourself, like. We've all raced. We've all got. We were in a pub the other day. I work with a guy who races classic cars, and just as a hobby. And we were chatting about this, and like as we're drinking, I'm like, I want to finish my drink before you. Like everything's competitive, but you know. But like we were joking about it. But it is. If you're gonna compete at that level, it's got to be in you, like 100%. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not surprised to hear you say that, and I'm sure everybody.
But see, I'm quite good at switching off. I'm not bothered if I drink the fastest.
Yeah, once it's got fair enough.
And too fucking tight to buy another one. I'll sip it. No, I'm not too worried about that because I feel like it's healthy to have both.
Yeah,
I think if you have that permanent mentality of I've got to beat him. I've got to build my barn the fastest there's ever been a barn built, or I've got to.
It sounds like you. I've got that mentality.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's because the council are pushing him.
Exactly. Yeah. Who's that drive-by looking?
Yeah.
But I think it's exhausting.
Yeah. Well, you'd be difficult to be around, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
If you were constantly like that.
If you're that permanently exhausted, it's not healthy. So it's good to be able to switch off. I'm healthy, competitive when it comes to my training and my racing, or if I'm out motocrossing, anything to do with motorbikes, so on. But if everything else,
What do you do to make yourself switch off? Like, what's your thing that to get away from?
Just be here.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, sort of people can't see as such, but like I say, just be. I don't always venture outside of my gates that much because I don't necessarily need to. Really, I've kind of that much work here that it's fucking 24/7.
Yeah,
and that's the hard bit for me. So I've trained with people, I do a lot of training and so on, I do fitness tests, and they say, oh, what have you done today? And I'll be like, oh, fuck me, I had to clad my motorhome barn. But it's so exhausting that when I finish at the end of the day, I'm bollocks. And when I go and do my fitness tests, thinking, fucking hell, everyone else has gone and ran 1,000,000 miles today, and I've only ran fucking 800 sort of thing. But my fitness test has always been one of the best there's ever been. Like, we did it at the Porsche Centre with PBM at the start, end of last year, start this year. In Dean, the team's fitness sort of guy as such was like, fuck you, one of the strongest we've ever
had.
Not as in ever had it from the team, but ever had at the Porsche Centre, which is good. But it's not me sort of blowing me on trumpet. It's just because I just don't really stop.
Yeah.
With fucking going up and down trees, you have to be physically strong, don't you?
You have to be desperate for money. That's what
No, but you have to be. You imagine, dare I say, I know it's the way of the world, but sat down permanently all day is the hard bit. So you or I, whoever, being outside, climbing trees, cutting trees down, or fucking doing whatever, it keeps your body is naturally burning fat in calories without even thinking you are as such. So, yeah.
Here's a question. Have you ever had, like we had last 2 weeks ago, we had a sports psychologist on. Have you ever seen a sports psychologist who got like a coach? Have you had a trainer? Because like
they wouldn't work with me. They said I'd fucking scar them too much.
Freddy Krueger's my man.
Yeah, exactly,
Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
No, I haven't that.
No, you're not going to find it funny then. Have you seen it? No, well, fuck them. Move on.
Yes, what a man. Get off his property.
Exactly, yeah.
No, but it's like one of the best things I've heard was like, Ronnie Sullivan, the super player, and he used to smash cues up and everything like that and like go absolutely nuts, and then he started seeing like a coach or a sports psychologist, and then he calmed right down, his game improved, and it's just, your character, your demeanour. I can just imagine you back at like when we talked in episode 71, we were talking, you did the Metra kit and you did super teens, and then you rapidly went through the ranks. You went from super teens to
the 125 GPs.
Yeah,
125 GPs,
and then R6 Cup, and then Super Sport for 1 year, and then
Superbike. Yeah, so it's like, that rapid escalate, like sorry, I'm saying the wrong word there, but that rapid ascent through there, it just seems, I could just see the younger Tommy. Yeah. Toys out the pram, chucking things across the garage.
I used to be, yeah. It used to be bad. And then I joined Motor Rapido. And Wilf is quite
dry character.
Quite enthusiastic, should we say. He's I think he knew that if he chucked the toys out the pram, I would react, or vice versa. So neither of us did. And to be honest, it's quite good for us both, because it actually made us bite our lip, going fucking hell and cross, but I'm not going to show it. So we worked well in that, and it helped me massively.
Well, a calmer fighter is always a better fighter. That's always been the same in any discipline. It's just, what's refreshing to hear is, it's now we're talking about like Glenn as an example there, the manifestation, and he sees a sports psychologist, I believe, and these tricks and techniques. It's refreshing, and I'm not saying this is a form of weakness. Who want to go see help, that's fine, but it's nice that people can do it themselves.
Yes, yeah, of course,
and now, hold on, before the keyboard warriors start kicking off, it's great that we're highlighting everything, and the fact that there are support mechanisms.
Yes.
But then the right team around you have like sculpted.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's not going around that, because every time
some people are just a bit more emotionally like aware of themselves, and a bit more emotionally. I'd probably get shot for saying this, but I would say like stronger. So, racing's in it's massively in your head, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of
massive, yeah.
Ultimately, everyone who goes to any British Championship level has got some sort of talent.
Yes,
but when you get to the Superbike level and have it, like when you've worked with a few different people, you see the differences in like how they approach it and how they do it. And some people are just naturally stronger in that way, and some people need a little bit more help, don't they?
But the mad thing is that strength element is identifying that you're out of control, and then that's the natural cream raising to the top. At this level is a perfect example of British. You get people who turn up and do a sport and go top for me. That's where the strength element is. It's identifying that situation. But
it's exactly like you said before. Like you say, the keyboard warriors kind of jump on. We're not saying either's right or either's wrong, are we?
No. It's good that you can identify either yourself.
Yes.
But some people think, I need for someone to figure out I've got a problem. And there's like people that think I need help. the help is there. And it's refreshing that you don't think you need someone to tell you you've got a problem. You actually went, right, I need to keep my shit in line. You know what I mean?
Plenty of people that can tell me I've got a problem.
No, but you know my point. It's like, right, I better calm myself down here, or you know.
And I think it's, you know, kind of touching on it. It really is for me. I've not felt the need because I've not felt I've needed it, because my own inner drive, my own inner focus is always been for one goal in to win the British Championship for my brother. So that is kind of is been my my help, let's say, you know, kind of going back to like we were saying about Grace making the podcast a success is in honor of her brother. So she's doing it for her brother and I'm doing it for my brother. So everything is sort of stemmed from that as such. You know, if I didn't have to go through that tragedy, would my determination, my motivation, my outright kill or be killed, my whatever, would that be the same? I don't know. You know, I don't know. And unfortunately I won't know. Maybe that's when I would go, oh, I'm good on a motorbike. I want to win, but I'm not sure I can. So I'm going to go and see a head shrink. I think what are they called?
Sports psychologist.
Sports psychologist, yeah.
I think I said that wrong on the previous one as well. Sports psychiatrist or psychologist. One of them anyway. Hi.
So I'm going to go and see one of them in help me win. Let's say. So it's not wrong or whatever. Oh yeah, fucking have it in the mic about.
It's just a part of your body, isn't it? If you think
body,
yeah.
You've seen that Mr. Bean. That's
if you like need to be fitter and you need to like last a race, you would go running longer. Like, or if you needed to be physically stronger, then you would lift heavier weights. Yes. It's the same thing, isn't it? Just some people don't necessarily need to go and see a doctor to do it because they're emotionally a bit more whatever. I don't I don't know the official words, but
it's like Dom said. There's the world we are in now. There's support packages for everything. You know, if you're struggling with drinking addiction, then there's people that can help you, or mental health, and that is the cool part of, you know, the world, that we have all of them support packages, and it's available if you need it. If you don't need it, brilliant. I've kind of been, I sound boring really, but I've never ever had any addiction to anything bar
racing motorbike.
Well, yeah, honestly, bar
anything chemical related.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly that. Do you know? I can honestly say, hand on my heart, I've in there's probably a rare few that can. I've never ever taken any form of drug. I smoked a fag once. I smoked a cigar.
What was his name?
Yeah, exactly.
Dom. Fuck's sake. Dom.
Enjoy yourself, laddie. Bit of Scottish. No, so I've never done anything. And I'm probably the boring party people, but yeah, just the way I've been. Like, you know, I don't like gambling, for example, because, you know, it's just a bottomless pit of money. I don't think many gamblers end up actually winning money, do they? You know, by the time they calculate how much they've spent to win, it don't always end up, wow, I fucking hate it. Like, I go horse racing and I think, right, I'll have a budget of £100, blow it on the fucking first race, and then think, fuck it, I just want to go home now. So yeah.
Where's the bar?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, pretty boring. Really.
It is. There's less of a. I think what's really nice about it and what's good, and it's probably been highlighted through sports more than anything. There's just less of a stigma attached to the fact that people, you know, that it's a thing.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly,
even 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been generally classed as a thing. You know,
exactly that. And I think, you know, where everyone tries to find anything to get a step up. You know, in that's just the way it is in sport. I don't know the ins and outs, but look at the common publicised, wasn't it, about the is it Lance Armstrong, the cyclist?
Yeah. You
know, when he was having the blood transfusions and so on and so on. Well, you'd never believe it, would you?
No.
Never ever fucking believe it. Mm. You know, the biggest fraud in sport. And you just can't believe it. You know, he was the face of Nike, he was the face of all this, and you think, well, it was all fake. Well, yes, he won, or yes, he was what he was, and I'll probably get saved because I don't even know the facts, so I'm kind of putting my opinion without even knowing what actually happened. But it's just that's the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah. But they were
Going off
cheating
topic.
ultimately. That's the thing. So like,
Yeah.
but it tarnishes everything that he's
Achieved.
achieved. Yeah,
It's
100%,
tarnished
yeah.
his name, innit? You know. So,
Yeah, in a big way.
yeah.
But
I want to talk about 2024.
oh, not yet. No, not yet. Before we move on to that paragraph.
He's getting eager.
No. It's you've done the job.
Yeah.
You're British champ. You've dedicated. You fulfilled your promise to your brother.
Yeah.
What happened
What happened was.
if you didn't achieve that?
Yeah.
Not this
Nice
year.
fucking
or-
oak tree out there, innit?
No. But like, if you didn't achieve it this year gone,
Yeah.
or the years to come, how would you have accepted that?
Tough, innit? You know, I think you would have accepted it by going. I had a good go.
Yeah.
Every morning I got up. Every morning I had the same goal. If that goal wasn't achieved, then you just have to get on with it, don't you? I guess it's shit, but as long as you know that you've gave it a fucking good go, and it's not like, oh, I said to me brother I become British champion, I've ate shit all winter and I've not trained all winter, and right, I'm at round one and I got to go and win. It's not going to happen. You both know the level of racing a motorbike at the TT. It's short circuits, whether it's super stock 600 up to superbike up to fucking Isle of Man TT, the level is the level of each category. So saying British Superbikes is the level is immense. It is immense, but then put me at the TT and I'd be fucking lapped by you. Do you know what I mean? So
Please let this happen.
exactly. Yeah. No, but it's just completely different. We're talking about British Superbikes, but
No, but
it's good, but yeah.
Your goals massively changed.
Yeah.
It's not just winning a championship. When you're telling your brother, I'm going to win this.
Yes. Yeah.
That emotional separation
Yeah.
is humongous, and it's
Yeah.
I never got, I don't even know yourself until you sit down in the studio.
Yeah.
I never got to meet Ollie. But
Yeah. It's a
That
it's
is-
sad.
now,
I
if
feel
it's-
sad
if
for
I-
people that didn't, because it's like my wife obviously never met my brother, and
really,
yeah, obviously because what's he been gone now 2007, so 15 16 years is it now or something, 2023. So we only sort of, fuck knows how long we've been married. I think we've been together 10 years.
we'll edit that bit for it.
Yeah,
I was gonna
exactly,
say,
yeah.
that's the only bit we're going to edit this
Yeah.
all in. Like we've been
number
married.
You fucking done him dirty there. you did.
70.
No, she's all right. But so I feel sorry because Ollie was a character of a person that most people could only ever thrive to be, and just a nice lad, fucking fun. I got in a spot bother in town once. Did make me laugh because he's a bigger,
Bridewell Street.
yeah, exactly. No, bigger brother. Like he kind of was always on at me, kind of giving me a bollocking because I shouldn't have done this and shouldn't have done that, and da da da. But you also knew deep down your brother was always gonna have your back. Anyway, I kissed this lad's girlfriend in town once, and it was mutual consent. Yeah, fair enough. No, so I kissed her anyway. So we got obviously a strop about it, understandably. So then the week later, we was out in Devizes. I was only like 17, I think, but my mate was a year older than me, so I used to use his passport to get into the pubs and clubs, and he used he used to use, because we looked quite alike, so and he used to use his driving license. So I was out sort of partying at like 17, and I went into this pub, and this lad comes up to me, getting all fucking pissy, and obviously was about to fucking want to have a sort of tear up. And then I can remember, because Ollie was like a strong lad, because his commitment was so inspirational of how he approached his racing, how he was committed to such a young age. All he wanted to do was succeed, and it was mega. And
So you got 20-year-old heavyweight,
Exactly,
bigger
yeah.
brother here.
fucking big arms on him, like big lad. And I can remember this lad scurrying up to me, and I just saw this big big arm come round this lad's neck and just like slung him halfway across the bar, not even in an aggressive way, just like grabbed hold of him. This lad didn't know what the fuck had happened. It was so funny. So just had some great times in. It's one of them that you'll forever cherish, and it's, as much as he's not here, to tell his own stories and so on, for me it puts a smile on my face still being able to tell our stories back then. You know, we used to go motocross, a fucked old Cavalier estate car with a tow bar and a bike trailer, and we used to have more fun seeing if we could snake the trailer through the motocross pits and the bikes not fucking end up on their side or roll the car than we did riding the bikes. We just always fucking about, you know. It was good fun. It was good fun.
So that leads us beautifully into the next lot of news. Now, this is a little bit backwards for us because when he walked into the studio before, I went, I already know the news. He goes, how do you know that? I go, I've spoken to who's your PR man? This is terrible. Great. Well, anyway, Grace has spoken to your PR man. I went, is this all consent? Oh yeah, it's been all signed off. Don't worry about it. So, hopefully it has been done. But
to be fair, they would lead nicely on. How do you feel about defending the British Championship? Before we talk about what it is you're going to be doing,
we're leaving him on a coach string here.
What's your thoughts on it? Because it's it's not something I've ever had experience. I've got no clue. But
they say it's sometimes more difficult.
Harder, you've got it now. You don't want to let it go.
Yeah, I think like exactly like I say, I've got it. And it's mega to have it. I've got the trophy. I've got the Alpine Star #1 top, and so on and so on. Massive tick in life. And I was quite unsure of how actually that would motivate me after. I was a little bit like, kind of, shall I just mic drop, win the championship, right, I'm out, I'm retired, fucking Geo.
Be building barns and fucking the council off.
Exactly that. We'll do that anyway. But and I sort of thought, I wonder how I'd have that mental and that self-motivation. Went away on holiday with Stace, and it was nice to have a bit of time off. And then before you know it, you go, whew, I got a challenge next year, a big challenge. One, because I am more, and I say more, the wrong word, because you can't be more committed and determined than I ever have been, but I am equally as determined and driven and focused, and will do whatever it takes to defend that championship. Because there's one thing winning the championship. There's one thing then there's another thing to defend it. Defending it would be cool. Winning it's fucking brilliant, pat on your back, mega. Defending it's a bit of a dick swing, you know, kind of bow when you see me sort of scenario. no, I'm joking. But if you do want to, you can. He's not. I think we're in Japan.
But it's a case of we're having a change of flavour. We've gone from
go on, just drop the news. He wants to drop the news.
But this is all news now. It's 2 days out, but you are now riding for the official Honda team. Congratulations, by the way. I feel like we should have a round of applause jammed in there. But it's a case of well, have you ridden a Honda?
Yes, I have actually. First ever podium in British Superbikes on a Honda.
Oh, the pressure's on now.
On the Key Garage bike.
Well, was actually Tyco when we got Tyco sponsorship, and then and they got the sponsorship, and they went obviously on to get the new bikes. Yeah, bit of Honda support and so on. So, I think the time. So exactly like you said, I've signed for Honda Racing for 2024.
1 year or 2 year? See, we don't even know the news. We're getting the French gen here, you know what I mean? So
1 year.
1 year.
Because obviously there's clauses in contracts for Honda to, let's say, retain you as such. It's like everything. Signing a 2 year, 3 year, fucking 10-year contract or a 1 year contract is kind of irrelevant, because if you sign 1 year and you're winning together, why would you want to change?
Yes.
Now I'm going to get a stick for saying, well, fuck me, you're not with PPM. But for me, with Honda, obviously, if I go out and I'm winning, why would you not want to go for another year and another year and another year until you kind of both get to the point where you go, well, look, we've had a great run, it's time you fuck off and we get someone else, sort of thing, you know? So, 1 year, and excited, really excited, really, really excited, to be honest, because obviously not forgetting I've had... 5 years with Ducati? So yes, only 1 year with PBM. Go on.
Yeah, so that's the thing. What is the big inspiration for the change? From a bike that you have won on, you know inside out, to an inline four. Period. It could be a Honda, Kawasaki or anything. But
I can briefly I can briefly touch base on, because there's people going to be going, why am I not with PBM? So I think it's only right to sort of kind of answer that. Where's them sirens coming from? There's never any police sirens.
They've seen Dom.
They've seen me truck.
I've done a reg check on it. Yeah.
Stacey doesn't even know I'm here. She's looked out the window again. I've got the pikey's back.
So when I done a, can you hear it? Can you hear it?
I can.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
It's getting closer.
I know, yeah.
That's MSV coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fuck knows. Anyway, sirens outside. But yeah, so touch on PBM. I'd done a deal with Paul, and I had a great friendship with Paul. I think the whole dynamic worked. It was brilliant fun, and I enjoyed it. I loved every minute of it. I had the golden opportunity to work with Paolo, which was fantastic. So on and so on and so on. The sort of conversations I had to stay with PBM for 2024 were not quite so clear, shall we say, because obviously Paul was the sole director of the company. So obviously at the minute, the company PBM Motorsport is obviously in probate, so they can't legally do anything. I can't sign a contract at the minute even if I was offered one. And there was a few bits and pieces that felt the time was perhaps right for me to move on, and tough. It's tough. It's quite tough for me to answer my own question probably, completely honestly. All I can sort of really say is thank you to them. Thank you to PBM for allowing me to become British champion. And I wish them all the success in the future. But they'll have to bring their A game if they want to fucking try and beat me.
Well, I tell you what, you are the champ, you are the defending champ. It's like,
I think it's tough because they are the championship winning team.
Yes.
But they've not got a number one to stick on the front of their bike. So there's a little bit of criticism.
I'm glad you're keeping that mind.
Yes.
They're going
to run the number one.
Yes, yeah.
That's cool.
But I'm sad for the team because obviously, and I'm sad for Ducati, because I had a fantastic friendship with Ducati UK, Ducati course. Mega company in just fucking brilliant. But I'm sad that the Ducati V4R and British Superbikes won't have the number one on, because they deserve to have it on the bike. It's hard because I'm the rider that is got the number one, but obviously it's the team as well that's allowed me to achieve that. So it's almost like they deserve it as to run the number one as well as I do as such. But anyway, it goes with the rider. They get the garage order, as weird as it is in BSB. They get the number 1 and 2 garage every round because they're the championship winning team. And because I'm the rider, I get the number 1. So yeah, I'll be taking the number 1 onto the new Honda CBR. 1000 RRR, I think it is. Yeah. I think there's 3 R's in it.
The RRs.
Yeah, I think there's 3 R's.
I'm quite excited by it personally.
Yes, so am I.
I think they've never had no disrespect to Andrew because he's been plagued with injury, but actually since Glenn, they haven't actually really had someone who can challenge for a title. No,
100%. And I think when Glenn was there, obviously Glenn only had himself really to kind of challenge himself as such. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to the challenge really, because I don't know. I don't know. There's no facts that I'm going to jump on that bike. I've been on a V engine for 5 years. The Ducati ride's so different to anything else. It's all bottom end torque. They've made it better and better and better. It's dominating the world of motorsport in MotoGP, in Supersport, in Superbike.
Yeah, Supersport is what you think. Yeah.
It's dominating. I think the only championship it didn't win was Moto America, the Superbike. It won the Supersport. So as a company, they are dominant, but it's very, very easy to be that person to stay in your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And I'm not that person. I hate staying in my comfort zone. If I go out running and go, right, I know I can run 5 mile and I can run at a 7-minute mile pace, for example, and I'm in my comfort zone. If I run it that, you're always in your in that
Yeah.
point.
He'll always run 7-minute miles.
Yeah. If you then go out and you start going, fuck, I'm going to really make myself uncomfortable and I'm going to run a 6-minute mile, before you know it, your 5-mile pace will be 6.5, you know, kind of sort of weirdly translating it as such. But for me, going with Honda is, I wouldn't have signed for Honda if there wasn't certainties, shall we say. Honda's quite different, where it's very corporate, very tight-lit, very professional, very...
He's sweating while he's saying this.
Yeah,
Josh.
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
oh, God. I can ride a bike, but fuck.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I think they've learned as a team and as a company, should we say, that success is the main thing. Whether they've got to deal with a character, shall we say,
It's manageable.
It's manageable. As long as that number one is on the number one step, then me going around the track swearing, they can put a media spin on it, saying I got fucking Tourette's or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Harv will be running around with the fucking stick.
Yeah.
So, like, racing against the Hondas. So,
Yeah.
can you... Is there strengths that we don't see? Are there weaknesses that we don't see? Are you, like, making a decision to defend your championship and go on the Honda?
Yes, it's a gamble.
Well, it is.
It is, isn't it?
You know,
100%.
anything that's not a poor bird
Ducati.
because
Exactly
you've proven that.
Yeah.
You ain't going to prove that.
Not often the
Everything
Honda
is
get
a
it wrong,
gamble.
though, is it? It's a gamble, but it's a good gamble.
Yes, yeah. I get what you're both saying, 100%. And there's a big question mark on your point, and there's a more in-depth conversation on your point, because yes, I think obviously, unfortunately, Paul's not about anymore. Obviously, Jordan and Frank are obviously taking up the helm as such.
God love them. They've been chucked in the deep end. Well, you know,
Yeah.
Paul was
Exactly.
a sudden loss to the family. That's
Yeah.
it. They've got a lot to go through.
And they had and have got a very tough challenge on their hands for definite, because there's very big boots to fill. And it's going to be tough for them. You know, it's going to be very, very tough. I think when Paul was about, I saw the way the team was very, what's the word, like Paul walked in and everyone was like, stand up straight, arms crossed sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Like,
Commanded a bit of respect.
the boss was there, you know, the boss was there. You respect him and so on and so on. Unfortunately, when Paul passed, maybe that kind of slipped a little bit in truth. I probably shouldn't have been able to have got away with my antics on track. If Paul was about, I'd have had a fucking bollocking. And so is Glenn. Glenn's antics, you know, through the medias, through the mind games, through the garage antics, so on and so on, wouldn't have been tolerated. And it was going back to part of the reason why I decided to make a change, because you know, I'm not sure how the dynamic of the team will work for me. I didn't enjoy the last 3 rounds, and I have to enjoy racing. So if I didn't enjoy the last 3 rounds, why would I want to sign up for another 11 rounds?
Yeah.
You know, in truth, that's me being honest. And I'm not bad mouthing anyone by saying that. I'm just saying, if I didn't enjoy it, why would anyone re-sign?
Yeah.
To do 11 rounds of it. So when I had made that decision, that I kind of thought, do you know what, nothing's going to change and so on. So maybe I need to look and do something else. I made the decision I was leaving. I say leaving, probably a wrong word. I wasn't going to be with PBM. And then, yeah, you know, I picked up the phone and said to Honda, I know you've got all your riders as such now, but if
Bring your folds.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring your
I'm
folds.
going to your account in. And do you know what?
Your account.
Do you know what, that is cool, because I guess before the perhaps podcast, the announcement to be made on the 1st of December, and this is going to come out on the 3rd.
On the 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, so cool. So
Today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just put it out of the way. Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, today. Yeah. But it was nice because the conversation that I had with Harvey and Neil Fletcher from Honda was, in this gospel honest truth, was right, Tom, we can afford to pay X amount. Cool, no problem, done. That was it. You know, so people going on, he's just jumped on it because it's money. Definitely 100% not. You know, absolute 100% not. The conversation was, here's our budget. Yes, no worries. sorted, really.
Because yet again, from the outside looking in, I'm not in that side of the paddock, but
Yeah.
Honda have found a secret diamond mine or something like that. Now, I'm not fully aware of Honda's financial situation, but we worked out on the way down. There's 7 people on board.
You've gone for a 1-rider team, a 2-rider team, the 7-rider team.
Like the 7 dwarfs.
See how fast I can fall out with 7 of the fuckers.
No, but all seriousness, Honda are making a huge statement. You've got number 1, you got Jack Kennedy, who is the fastest man in Supersport, period. And then who else you got? You got John McGuinness, legend. You got Nathan Harrison. You've got Dean Harrison. You know what I mean? Who's like, it's going to be because.
And Andrew, obviously.
Well, that's the thing is.
Excited to see Andrew back, actually.
Yeah,
I seen him at the NEC, and I just, out of the way he was chatting and stuff, I thought,
Do you know, and I think...
he's hungry for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think me coming into the team will do him good as well.
I do agree.
Because he's sounds the wrong word, but perhaps being the spearhead of Honda. And it's a big amount of pressure, you know. He's kind of been chucked in at the deep end, and he's not had the help of kind of another teammate of when he's having a shit race. The other riders
doing well, like,
mantle bit, you know.
But the last time it was proper like that was Glenn and, you know, when Donington Park and the COVID, the black bikes and them two hammering on.
Untouchable.
This is just, it was just absolutely outstanding.
I can remember when I saw them bikes on track in 2020. I think it was at the Donington test. I can remember saying to Wilf, there is no fucking way, as long as I got a hole up my ass, I can get anywhere near that Honda. No way, because they were braking. I was braking into turn 1 and they were still flat out. The bike could brake so late, I couldn't get my head around it. And then they went on to, obviously, you know, Donington at round 1.
Dominated it.
Just fucking dominated. And then they disappeared, you know, and I don't know why. You know, so it might be something within the team, riders, whatever. I don't know why, but they kind of, just sort of disappeared, and that was that, really. But for me, the conversation with Honda was more, I'm coming with a number 1 to stick on your motorbike. You need to promise me that number 1 I'm going to be able to defend under your banner, because it's sort of a no-lose situation for me, because I've had winding it back again, you know, as soon as I got on Ducati in 2019, 3rd in the championship, 2020 COVID year, massive chatter problems. Weirdly, it turns out putting 3 kilogram weight on the back of the bike fixed everything. Unfortunately, we didn't find that and didn't know about that
too late
until 2021.
Yeah.
Soon as we then got wind of that, in 2021, I had the bike back like I had in 19 as such, 2nd in the championship to Tarrant. And then in 2022, tough year is such, good year, but tough year. Slightly different centre of gravity of the bike that I believed it didn't like. I don't. Terminoni exhaust systems is fantastic, great company, lovely people, but I think the under seat system that Bassani and Rapido run is not correct. I don't think the weight is in the right position, and I refer back to the weight. Snettleton this year I won all 3 races. Race 1 I had X kilograms, race 2 I had X kilograms, and race 3 I changed it by not even half a kilogram. And I had massive chatter. I was still able to win, but I had massive chatter. So that just goes to show how fragile the bike is to weight. We've learned that, so it's not difficult as such. So in 2022, the bike was really tough, but I still was able to finish 3rd in the championship. And then obviously 2023, won the championship. So my history with Ducati is strong. So for me going to Honda, is
with a bag of tricks, really.
Well,
but the onus is more on them than it's on you, right?
Than me,
You're the defending champion. You've come 2-3 win.
Yes.
And you go into a new Honda.
And it's not a marketing stunt, you know. People see the number 1 on the bike, and yes, it's a PR dream. It's a marketing dream. They got a big number 1 on the bike, but it's not a marketing stunt. It's yes, it's great, but they've guaranteed and promised me that I will be able. They will give me everything I need to defend my championship, and that's all I need, you know. So if that means making a fucking single-sided swinging arm for the bike, then that's what we will do. It won't be that case, but
God, I hope there's one round 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mash it.
Can you imagine?
You heard it on Chasin The Racin, kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so for me, it's exciting. Yes, there's 7. Is there 7 riders? Is there?
Wait, no, but the mad
There's
thing
3
is, it's not-
superbike riders in BSBs. 3
Yeah.
there'll be, well, there is now
3 roads.
and 1
Fucking
super
hell,
sport.
yeah.
But the mad thing is, you're not the only winner.
Yeah.
No. Like Dean Harrison is left.
No, there's not
No,
3 roads riders. There is 3
Wait,
roads riders.
Nathan Harrison, Dean Harrison, John McGuinness.
Yeah, but he's one of the 3rd superbike
Yeah,
riders
but he's
as well.
still
isn't he?
third bollocks, you know.
Six or seven.
Six,
No, but even so, Dean Harrison is. I don't mean that. I'm going to say how it is. He's left the comfort blanket. You know, he's built a team with his friends, Silicon and Dow Racing, and he's got a wage. He's gone racing, and he's performed at extremely high level. He has left that to come under a different brand,
I think
and
it's
he is employed to win.
Yes.
Jack Kennedy, he's gone like super sport, multiple winner.
Yeah.
They're putting him on that bike,
Yeah.
not just to doll round the back.
Yeah.
You've got to win a championship, son.
It's 100%,
You've got
yeah.
some bell called Bridewell who has his own street.
Yeah.
He's just won the championship, and he's like, "Look, son."
Yeah.
And to
No,
me-
no,
they've
but
got
you know-
they've got to perform.
Yeah.
As a company, as a bike, as a manufacturer, as a Honda, they have to. Yeah.
they've got the most 3 desirable riders for each category, really. haven't
Yes.
they?
And bearing in
when you
mind,
think
they've got
about it.
3 backup. Like, that's horrible to say that, but they've got lads who could do the job as well as that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as the pressure train's concerned, you've got the winners there.
Yeah.
But you've got lads who are capable of winning as well. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, no, it's
you know, when you think that like, you know, if heaven
Yeah.
forbid, touch wood, you know, if one of them sprains an ankle or something like that, there
Yeah.
is Honda are coming out hard, like,
Yeah.
like incredibly
and
hard.
that is the funny bit is financially or budget, let's say, it's very different.
It's gone out the window this year. It's gone,
Be
gone
fucking
through that
bankrupt.
it's gone through that letterbox you were telling us about.
Exactly, yeah. No, but that's the funny part is I said to Honda, right, I'll sign for you. I want to get spin out on the bike as soon as possible on the current bike.
When's that happening, do you know?
So that will be happening in December the 4th, 5th and 6th in Spain. So the sort of request I sort of said, I'd like to get a spin out on the bike. A lot of times with teams it falls on deaf ears. The phone goes the day after going, right, make yourself available. We've booked these tracks. You know, we're jumping on test it, Portimao with World Superbikes and same at Jerez. So exciting for that because it'd be nice for me to jump on the bike this year to basically
Sit over Christmas going.
So basically,
Yeah.
when everybody hears this, you'll be at Jerez tomorrow.
I'll be travelling. Yeah, I'll be
You'll be
travelling.
listening to this
No,
podcast
Portimao.
going.
Portimao tomorrow.
I'll
yeah.
be flying out to there. So exciting, really exciting because I'm looking forward to getting back on the inline. You know, inline for the new bike's going to be different because obviously it's split throttle bodies, a bit more flex on the frame, different crank, different bits and pieces. There's more technical side that should be quite good for us. And part of also my decision with going with Honda was through all of this that we're going fucking how Honda's, you know, they've got to perform. One Honda rider between all of the Hondas that have been on the grid has not been that far away. 1 minute Danny Kent was on the podium at Brands Hatch, wet, and on the podium at the dry. Charlie Nesbitt was on the podium, obviously, in all 3 races at Thruxton. They've, through almost the course of the year, it's been a bit up and down, but the Hondas have showed the speed.
I'm sorry, but you're comparing everything against the previous champions. So
Yes.
when you think prior to that, it's the Yamaha with Brad Ray,
Yeah.
the new MG lads. You know what I mean? And then you think, well, that's a good bike. That's the second bike to now Ducati.
Yes.
You know, but if Yamaha won it again, the Ducatis wouldn't be
No.
dominant. It's
The Yamaha is still a phenomenal package. In truth, it's still probably one of the most rider-friendly
on the grid. Yeah.
all-round packages. The mid-corner speed that they are able to carry is fucking phenomenal. But you have to learn how to beat your competitors, and to beat your competitors is have a faster motorbike in a straight line,
Yeah.
which the Ducati is, brake as late as you can, which the Ducati does allow you to do that, and hold them up in the middle of the corner, basically, because the Ducati, it doesn't have very good mid-corner speed. It has a lot of good areas, but mid-corner on the edge of the tyre is fucking disaster. So you have to almost go in fast, brake hard, get it in, turn it, and get it up on the fat part of the tyre as quick as possible and just drive it as hard as you can.
Proper litre race.
You can actually physically see that when you're watching as well. Like when the three of you were battling at Brands, you can see how you and Glenn look like you were almost stopping at Westfield, and Kyle's up the inside of you, and then it was like, oh, and you've gone again. And
so the Honda, I've kind of looked at some of the data, spoke, not that much in depth with my crew chief, which is going to be Chris Pike, who's obviously a very clever guy. Understanding the weaknesses, the positives and the weaknesses of the bike currently to the new bike. Even we don't have any much information or data from the new bike, only from what obviously HRC have literally done. What have they done? 2 days at Jerez, I think, the other day. So we get that kind of information of going, right, these are the better areas, this need work. So it's exciting for me because, like I say, the conversation I had with Honda was, we need you to spearhead our British Superbike division, our investment in Andrew, our investment in Dean Harrison, in all of it is such. They're investing in them. It's as important for them to succeed as it is for them investment in me. But I think there is more pressure on me to perform.
They've employed you to win.
Exactly that. So they've employed me to win, and I'm going with them going, I'll win if you give me a package I can win with. So they're promising me and I'm promising them. And I think it'd be good, really. It's a good, fresh challenge, isn't it? Get a fucking load of... We've got a new motocross bike. They make lawnmowers.
There'll be some CRVs parked up here next week.
It's on order. It's a win.
Electric point at the bar.
Montesa Trials bike, No, it all
selfies were market. Well, no, not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I can remember. I can remember I was chatting to Tarrant.
You're getting too late for the Ducatis.
Yeah. No, I can remember I was chatting to Tarrant McKenzie about it, because I sort of said to him, I might be going with Honda, and I think one of the first things he come back with was, oh, they make ride-on lawnmowers as well, and I was like, for fuck's sake, fuck it, I'm signing. So no, I think it's going to be good. I've learned how to toe the corporate lines when I have to and I need to. Podcasts like this, I'm able to be.
This is Pirate FM.
Exactly.
Nothing exists on Pirate FM. I love it.
And that is the beauty of it. Sometimes when you're live on Eurosport or Discovery or whatever, you have to be a bit different, don't you? But
especially when you're all hyped up and full of adrenaline, and someone shoves a microphone in your face.
Yes.
It's tough.
It's tough there.
So what's not to be excited about?
Well, before we move on to the Patreon questions. Who's your biggest threat next year? Who's your biggest threat, and who's your biggest outside bet?
So my biggest threat, if I'm going to be 100% honest, is a little bit uncertain, because at the minute, I hope by the time this podcast comes out that perhaps there's more confirmation, but at the minute, no one is sure if PBM are running next year or not. So if the team isn't running, does that then mean Ducati are not on the grid, or Ducati are only on the grid with Motor Rapido? The conversation I've had with obviously Ducati UK Fabrizio is it seems that if PBM are not running, then they'll basically take a year out as such and come back with the new bike in 2025 with, if I'm going to be honest, it looks maybe someone like FHO. I don't know. I might be talking out of turn, but that's just rumours. I'm allowed to speak a rumour.
It's an open playbook at that point. Isn't it? Anywhere
There'll
can
be
go
another team with the factory bikes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I hope, obviously, that isn't the case in the respects that PBM are on the grid. If they are on the grid with Glenn, then he has to be a big threat.
Yeah.
But also, I believe Carl Ride is obviously he's found the consistency from circuits to and through the course of the year. Ryan Vickers was riding around. There's so many, isn't there?
What do you think about Jason?
On the Quacker.
It could be a good change, couldn't it? It could be a fresh. It could be
I
a fresh
can't
change.
make my mind up what I think about. I mean,
Let's put it this way: if you was to
he?
say about the bike, I don't think it's better
No, it's not.
than the Yamaha.
No,
I think the Yamaha is better than the Kawasaki.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't make no odds, because if Jason is fresh start, wants to prove a point, got a different atmosphere, a different environment around him,
And he's happy.
he has the natural ability and natural speed to win. We've seen that. Maybe that perhaps slight lack of bike performance won't even make any odds. Perhaps it'll all be a benefit. And to be honest, kind of like Dom said, really, who's your perhaps outside? Maybe Jason would be.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
bill, really.
I want Charlie Nesbitt just because I like the kid.
Yeah, no, he's mega lad, obviously, and he's local as well.
No, but the mad thing, there's no outside bets. That it's almost derogative, that, but it's a bit like, who's going to come in with a left hook?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, that's what I mean. You know what I mean?
Danny Kent will be strong on the Yamaha
I don't think
thing.
it'd be fast enough, though. The bike, the speed of it. I think the bike would be good, but I don't know. I might be wrong in saying, but with Charlie, I can remember saying to him, I think even Brand's last round, I was saying, look, you just take a step back, because too many crashes. Too many crashes. It's no secret. Lovely lad, great rider. Take a step back and you'll go 2 steps forward. There's so many areas I feel like I can say to him, do this and that, but can't say that quite yet because he'll be fucking beating me, wouldn't he? So I think he has the ability to go on to be good. I think he perhaps could do with a bit of guidance, and I think we've seen that with Ryan Vickers. You know, he was a bit of a nightmare for crashing.
Yeah. He's had a fantastic season. I know he's injured at the beginning, but fantastic run for.
And that's probably just down to OMG, and I think he's got.
Alan's got a good package.
Yeah,
he's got the 2 good riders, good bikes.
Roger Marshall's there.
Roger Marshall, exactly. He's got obviously him helping him. It's a win-win, really, isn't it? And I think that's what Charlie could probably do with someone who's been there and wore the t-shirt to say, "Come on, let's take a step back." But yeah, go on, give me a question then.
No. Sorry, this is from the patrons. Sorry,
right,
I'm going to
so
go.
what does that mean then? The patron.
So patrons, simple as this, without patrons, the show wouldn't exist. So patrons can subscribe, so it's like as low as like from £5 a month upwards and onwards. Nice. But they get an opportunity to ask guests like yourself direct questions, and then we do quizzes and like
early
flat track days and stuff like that. Mate, imagine if we had Tommy Bridewell do it.
You'll do it under like some alias name as well, wouldn't you?
Tess Tickle. I ordered the Domino's once. And I was laughing to myself, and Stacey's like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "I got to go and pick up the pizza." Anyway, went in, and she was like, "You're naming it up there," and I was like, "No." Anyway, the bastards, no, they only put Tess because my surname is Tickle. And when I went and picked the pizza up off of them, the girl was laughing, and she said, "Oh, is it Tess?" And I went, "Can you read the full name out, please?" She was like, "Tess." Tickle, and I was like, "Yeah, that's me, love."
There's a tip now. Piss off.
And Stacey was like, "You're so mature." I was like, "Yeah,
class, absolutely class." But this question's from Tyler Davies. Sorry, it's a long one. So, do you think BSB should start the shift to an electronics package, which is close to the World Superbike spec, to allow younger riders to easily transition between BSB to Worlds? That's the question. Yeah. So.
Yes, I've been quite vocal about it because of also it would allow BSB to ride a bit more in line with World Superbike, so I can do World Superbike wildcards. So my deal with Honda, for example, is to do World Superbike wildcards in 2024, whether it's 1 or 2. But there's no point in me doing it on my BSB spec bike, so I'll be doing it on a, let's say, a World Superbike spec bike with full electronics. It's a headache for the team. It's more hassle, but I've never got my head around, going into that question, when we're at Brands Hatch, World Superbikes, Shaky Byrne, Chris Walker, John Reynolds, whoever is doing a wild card. Shaky Byrne, I think he won both races, did he?
Yeah. Hodgson did it. And
Hodgson, there wasn't a blade of grass on the bank you could see. It was fucking packed. So if BSB were able to do it, World Superbike wildcards competitively at Donington, would that drag in more public? I think yes, 100%. and it's safer. There's no secret that our circuits, some of the circuits we're doing are becoming very, very, very close to borderline to be safe. In all honesty, Cadwell's a prime example. It's fuck me, it's not safe, is it? Let's be honest, it's fucking madness. But it's what we do. So that's that. Knockhill, as much as I love the guys at Knockhill and Duncan and everyone, it's
a tight old place.
Fucking tight. I had an engine blow up there on the Milwaukee Yamaha over start finish, and it spewed oil out all over the rear tyre. And as soon as I braked into turn 1, 100 and fucking whatever mile an hour, I lost the rear. And now if I lost the rear, I'm going straight into Armco in this. There's only one outcome. Luckily for me, it was before the scooter rear brake come in. So my clutch now is really low. So I wouldn't have been able to have got hold of the clutch. But because I didn't have that, I could just grab the clutch, freewheel the bike, turn into the corner, and then just jump off the bike. And that's basically what I done. And I skimmed the Armco. Fuck me. Yeah.
Do you still run scooter brake?
I do now, yeah.
It's interesting after that, like, because I wouldn't. That's a fail safe. That,
100%.
For me, you know what I mean? It's like putting a pin back in a hand grenade. Like I do, like classic race and all sorts. Like if you put the clutch up there, but like, no,
yeah,
put
I know,
it down. You know what I mean?
But you kind of.
It's interesting.
It's a performance related sort of thing, isn't it? Where the clutch for me is to set off and stop. The clutch for me and you is the. I was gonna, I'm gonna lose the rear. Fuck! Whoa, grab the clutch. It's natural. It's so natural to do that.
It's interesting though that even though you experienced that, still going. It's almost like risk and reward, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's like I want the reward rather than the risk.
Yeah, exactly that. You kind of have to choose, don't you? So yeah, but going on to the question, for definite, I wish they would be more aligned. Even if it was like, allowing us launch control for me is not a performance point really, but it's a safety point in some degree. It's not that difficult to, let's say, stall the bike on the line. You fucking pole position it, Cadwell, or wherever. We've seen it happen, unfortunately, before. Whereas launch control is something that they can easily put in, that you just hold the bike to, let's say, the flat out, and then all you're doing is worrying about the clutch. Whereas when I'm starting, I'm looking at my lights, I'm trying to look at the lights that are going out. It's like juggling, I'm trying to juggle, I'm trying to get the clutch to make the whole shot, bits like that. And traction, wheelie control, I'd say probably not, because it's not fucking hell, if you flip the bike, it is what it is. But launch control and traction control, I believe, would be a good safety step for sure.
No, definitely.
Maybe I should make a safety commission board.
It does mean that when you do that wild card as well, it's not a true reflection.
Yeah, exactly.
I robbed Tyler of part of his question because it would, and he literally just said it would allow BSP riders to have a better chance competing in a wild card. So he's in total agreement, and he says, "Well done for winning the championship, by the way." So
there's a lot. I'm just looking through some of these here. There's a lot of them. One that's a bit different. Actually, I think we kind of touched on it a little bit from Maggie Day. Is how do you deal with some of the negative comments that are made, and do you think you'll get a break from it over the winter?
I deal with just blocking them, really. In all honesty, I don't actually read them. My wife kind of, let's say, monitors a lot of it, and obviously she sometimes harps at fucking moaning about someone they've writ this and writ that, in to a point where I said to Stacey a while ago, look, I'm not interested.
Just don't tell us.
I don't care. Write what you want about me. I don't care, because I don't read your comments. So if you want to call me a bellend like people do, crack on, because I don't see it. So you're only writing it into fucking fresh air.
Yeah.
Dicks.
That's right. No, you're right though. You become callous to it, but you realise the fact that they have no influx on your life at all.
At all. No.
Input at all. Like, and you just think, and then you just gone, right. Because was it Mike Tyson? It's like people forget how to respect until they get punched in the face. I've said that quote totally wrong, but it's like people are hiding behind phones and keyboards, and like respect's gone out the window.
Yes.
I have a right to say this, but they wouldn't march up to you.
No.
Imagine you revved up like that, going, "Come on, cupcake."
Yeah, I know. And that is
No, but people
It's so easy to do now, and it really, honestly, I have like such a strong opinion of it because it's like I call it football crack. It's like so in Newcastle they can't play the derby within a certain mile of the ground because of the way people kick off and fight and scrap.
Right.
And then in this whole online bollocks has fallen into our sport more and more, and I hate that. Like, it's fine to have an opinion and say something, but you should work on the assumption that perfect example. We talked about you on the podcast.
Yeah.
On after Alton Park, I thought you were in the wrong. Christian thought you were in the wrong.
Yeah.
Joe was on the fence. You were on the fence.
No, it was.
But we all said the same
I know,
thing.
but
like,
I think it's.
That wasn't a stab at you or
Exactly
anybody. It's
that.
like, but
and
there's
that's
a
just
situation.
fact. Like, that's just your opinion, isn't it?
Exactly.
I would not say it to you.
Yeah.
But people do this, build it up online now, and it infuriates. And actually, you're a very mentally strong person. It's clear to see that. But a lot of other people would take that to real heart and find it really difficult. I just find it horrendous.
I think there's an element as well. If people are talking about you, then they're the ones wasting their energy on you, then vice versa. But it's exactly like you say. My trouble is a lot of my reaction is, say, oh, this person's written this, da 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 da. Right, fuck it. I'm signing on. Send them our address. Tell him I'm on my fucking way now. I'm on my way. And it's funny, really.
It's right though, isn't it?
My cousin Ben is he's quite a fiery lad, and so I think after Donington or whatever, obviously people go on the social medias in tear me apart. Anyway, there was someone local that done it. And he does no more than basically says, right, meet me on the town green now.
like in year 9.
Exactly, yeah. He's gonna have you.
He's standing there with his phone flickering the light on. I'm here, son.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's class.
But it's good to know that you actually just think. I liked your comment about just putting it into fresh air.
Do you know, this is gospel honest truth? I had a chap message me after Alton Park with his opinion. Basically went on the on the Facebook BSB forums and called me. His actual words were the "see you next Tuesday" word. So he called me every word you can imagine. What a waste of breath, fresh air, oxygen thief, da 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 da, all this sort of stuff. Then he direct messaged me on my fan page, and I was like, I was chatting. Me and my wife were driving back, and I was like, do you know what? Just message him back saying, look, I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate your view. We're all entitled to that, like we were saying. You don't know my side of it. You've just jumped on the bandwagon. Anyway, cut a very long story short, started chatting to this chap, and said basically kind of got a bit in depth with him. I don't really kind of get too much involved with it, but got into depth with him and saying, look, mate, you are entitled to say whatever you want about me, but take a step back, look at it from my point, analyze it from that point, then come back to me and see what you think. And he basically come back, deleted every single post he had ever put about me, slagging me off. And this isn't me kind of just trying to win people over. This is just me showing people that take a bit more time to analyze it. Come back and said, you know what, Tom, you're completely right. I'm sorry. Da 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 da. I'll support you for the rest of the year or for your future. And the next minute you see on the BSB forum is like him posting about, wants me to win the championship and what a nice lad. And there's kind of a bit of a mixed view on it, because you kind of think, well, a bit of a hypocrite, because one minute you're fucking telling me I'm an oxygen thief and next minute you want me to win. But also it's nice to see that people are able to look at it.
Through, understand that.
Think, actually, I was wrong. And become a fan. So even if he wasn't a fan, he is now.
There's another one. We've got another one from Steve Moore, but we already touched on it. Was a case of, has having a teammate pushed you on? We've already
Steve Moore.
Steve, not Steve Moore?
Not Will. I was going to say no.
Steve Moore. He's from County Durham.
Oh, is he?
He's as rough as he gets. So, if you get any haters, I'll give Steve some over there. He'll sort
right Steve, we might have a job for you.
No, Steve is your man. He's from oh Christ, he's rough as a badger's arse. All that lad, you see, and you're gonna be loving this. Listen to this. I'm telling you that for a fact.
having a teammate, of course, it pushes you,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah. It's quite an easy answer, really. It does push you because you want to beat your teammate as much as anything. Fortunately for me, I had a strong, fast teammate in Glenn, so it made me have to be even faster and stronger. So, yes, it definitely helped.
Sorry.
So we've got one from Craig Harris. No question, but just really want to say thank you very much for being at the NG Awards night, giving out the trophies.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
So there you go. That's from Craig.
Lovely.
But,
That's cool.
but like we cover a lot on this. So we've got Jess, we have Mick, we have Sam, Tyler, Ryan. What's Garside got to say? It cost me £1,000 at a free tech race.
No.
He's a twat. Call him a twat. Call Garside
What,
a
who's
twat.
it?
Ryan Garside.
I don't think you're a twat.
We're going to put that on loop for you, Ryan, don't you? In a BSB charity boxing match, who would Tommy want to fight as the main event, obviously?
All it fucking once. Any day of the week, twice on a fucking Sunday. Come on, boys.
And oh my God. No, if you were in a charity boxing match, who
Take
would
the
you
biggest
pick?
out fucking first. Hickman, fuck it. Take the biggest out first, because then the rest shit themselves. Simple, innit?
Right, you'd pick Hickman as a charity fight.
Well, he's the biggest, isn't he? Would you say?
I'd say so, yeah.
He takes some getting down, mate.
He would.
But, like, down it.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere near when he did.
Oh, class.
No, Pete, if you're listening to this, I'm fucking coming for you, mate.
Now that would be, I'll tell you what, that would sell tickets. 100%
Yeah.
that fight.
I fight him.
There you
Fuck
are,
it, why
straight.
not?
Let's
Yeah.
get it sorted. Let's get it sorted.
It'd
BM
be a
versus
good, like-
Honda. It'll be. I can see it now.
Be a good charity night, wouldn't it?
It would,
It
be.
would, yeah.
I like honestly.
Aren't
me
you
and Grace-
doing a charity boxing match?
But my eye surgery is getting put back. Just a little corrective job, but then I'm definitely doing my I'm definitely doing my boxing match. I can't
Who
wait.
against so?
No, it's white collar boxing.
Oh, nice.
So it's all going charity.
Yes.
Because
So head guards and gloves.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
cool, yeah.
then you get
They'd fucking need one with him. They'd punch his metal blade.
And I've got a plate in there, so I'm built for it. So
Yeah,
I've got a
exactly,
face
yeah.
of a welder's bench. But
Yes.
but no, honestly, thank you so much to all our patrons on that side of things. But have you got any more questions? Have you got any questions? We don't even ask the guests that.
No, never. I don't.
No?
We could sit and talk for hours, couldn't
I've
you?
got-
It's difficult. Really.
I've got one main one before the tidy up.
Well, one question then. What? And I know you. It's like you say to me about getting bored. What is it like doing 130 mile an hour at the TT? Is it fucking
I'm amazed
scary?
you even know I've done that.
No, but is it scary?
No.
Is it not? Like
Nah.
genuinely? Because I can remember like a quote from I think Michael Dunlop put out about obviously the spotlight has always been on, well, not always, it currently has been on Dean v Hickman, let's say, wasn't it? And then Michael obviously showed up this year as such. And I can remember a quote he
On a
put out.
Honda.
Wait, is that, yeah, look, what do this fucking TT? And I can remember him putting out how he was saying something about if he has to take the door handles off through Kurt Michael, that's what he'll do. When you read that, you think, fucking hell. Is it like, when you're doing 130 mile an hour and you're coming through, I don't know, I used to sit in, there used to be a car lot. I feel like it's early in the lap, you come round like a little bit of a right kink, you come into view, wheelie in, and there's a car lot on your left and everyone sits in there. Do you know how that would be or not? I would say it's fairly early on the lap.
He's doing an actual lap here.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Fucking 37 miles later.
I know, yeah, exactly. I know, I'm trying to think where that is. Right?
Let me just try backwards.
I'm trying to think, there is Ren Cullen, but that's not the crest there, but I have to come
And
back
it goes
beyond
into
that.
a right. And I think I can remember sat there, and it was year when was it Gary Johnson was riding Gary Johnson was riding on the Honda red, white and yellow bike. Maybe was it BSMR perhaps or something like that. I think he may have even been first away, and fuck me, I was frightened sat there because I thought he was going to fucking hit me than him actually coming through on a motorbike, Where would be the worst place of the circuit?
The Nook. It's shit.
Is it?
It's 37 miles of just...
What's the most scariest?
What's it like over the mountain? Is it open nice?
I tell you what, you do think of Conor. I tell you what, my heart
Miranda,
bleeds for Conor Cummins, right? Because every year ITV put the same footage out again, and imagine having someone publicly put your PTSD out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just off the mountain,
Have you been round it in a car or anything?
Yeah.
Have you done a parade lap?
Not done a parade lap. I've done a lap on a bike, and it was on I think Mad Sunday, so you can imagine.
you should
and I was only on the back, fuck me, I'm looking like this, going fucking hell, there's bikes everywhere.
I'm telling you now, do a parade lap.
Yeah.
Because you obviously follow it.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
love
mean?
it, yeah.
And the good thing is, like, you've got John and Dean there, you know what I mean? And like, my God, like the PR.
You'd say you'd get to go and do something pretty cool there this year.
The thing is, a 37-mile long lap, and they shut the road off for you. Even if you parade it or race it, off you. No, you know, like the Mad Sunday, it's kind of shut for you.
Yeah.
But it's not.
What
But if
would
you get to
say
sit
the
there
ultimate-
and go off.
What would you say the absolute ultimate lap time could? You know, when we was all looking at John McGuinness when he did the 130, and now they're on
136.
fucking side.
Well, Dunlop did 130 on a 600.
Fuck me, man.
And you think, fucking hell,
Mad.
that's insane, that,
His
isn't it?
600 was 8 mile an hour slower than my 1,000 through the speed traps.
Was it? Oh, so it's fast.
It's
Yeah,
fast.
well, it's not-
it's
yeah.
fucking
It's
fast.
and
R6,
and
is
then
it?
and you've got Dunlop on the thing.
And he'll fucking pull the.
You know, if you're going to weigh it, if I was going to weigh it up from the outside looking in, Dunlop is riding that circuit so much harder than Hickman.
Yes.
Hickman is just that little bit later, like smoother. He's running the tramp. He's not even running that apexes.
Yeah.
He's really calculated that. But when you look at the history of Dunlop, he's just got calmer and calmer
Yeah.
and getting faster and faster. And now the thing is, when Dunlop refines that a little bit more and a little bit more,
Yeah.
I don't know how much
I think
faster
he could beat Hickman.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
No. But the mad thing is, it's just he has beaten him and everything like that. But how much has Hickman got left? And he's that boisterous.
He
He's
just
that
seems to be
calm.
able to-
He's everything. He just and you know what? It's just
He seems to be able to react though, Pete. It's like
if he needs
like,
to turn, it'll be Will.
Yeah.
exactly that's what I mean. And you're thinking every time Dunlop and Dean are just reacting to that.
Yeah.
There's that bit more and
One
a
of the-
bit more, and that's what. If you didn't
you
have that in the TT,
No.
it wouldn't.
No.
The spectacle wouldn't be there.
Be
You
there.
need the king of the mountain, don't you? And
Yes.
Hickman is that king of the mountain, but Dunlop, like you say, he will take the handles off the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And to
adds
be honest, like you said, I think one of the best races I've seen in the recent future would be when it was in the same week. I think it was Hickman v Michael Dunlop on Supersport, and they were coming through sectors lap after lap, like not even half a second separating them. And then I think it was the mini twin or super twin race when it was absolutely nothing separating them. I think Dunlop had, let's say, half a second in one sector, then Hickman would get it back and so on. And then I think Hickman broke down and then Dunlop went on to win. Or it might have actually been the other way round.
It was the other way around.
Was it?
Yeah, Dunlop was leading it. Yeah,
Ah, yeah. So
Is that
yeah.
this year?
No. Was it last year, I think?
last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking
the-
crazy.
Because on the pattern, the airbox is part of the frame,
Right.
so it's that's like the seal compartment of
Yeah.
it, and obviously that fractured, and obviously it was joining out, blah blah blah. And he tried to complete the lap to be fair to Dunlop, but he didn't make it round.
It is. I went for the first time this year, and fuck me, it's impressive to
Oh,
watch.
phenomenal.
Do you go
I
every
loved
year?
it.
No, I don't go every year, but it to be honest, it's two weeks of the year where
You want to rest?
no, I just get nothing done because I love the radio. Max Radio, massive.
Oh, it's traditional. It's class, isn't it?
It is so good, and down to Raymore, fucking Ramsey or whatever it is, and I just think it's brilliant. I think I can see a bike come into the site, and it's like, no, he's just gone. He's passed 5 minutes ago. You daft old fucker. No, I love it. I love the radio, but then you end up signing up for this TT live thing, so I end up watching it. But the who's the guy who does the, let's say, on the start grid comment, like interviews?
Chris Kinley.
Chris Kinley's fucking brilliant, isn't he? Good.
Oh, you know, he's like, oh, that's terrible. He's your friend. Give me the name. Scoop.
Oh, Larry,
He's like,
yeah.
he's like that,
yeah.
You know, he knows the riders, he knows the history, and
Yes,
like when he
yeah.
approaches you,
Yeah.
it's like approaching by a mate, and Kinley's got that with the riders.
Oh, he's
you know what I
massive.
mean?
He is. It's brilliant. But is he now TT Live and not Manx Radio?
No, I think it's still Manx Radio.
I
That's
think
his
he's
day job.
Manx
That's
Radio, yeah.
Manx Radio
Oh,
still.
is it? Yeah, because I was fucking about trying to find it on Manx Radio because I wanted to just like get on and do stuff around here so that I listen to Manx Radio because in truth it's as good as watching it almost.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that fucking thing to work any sense, so I have to have a look at it this year for next year then.
No, but it's like no. I'm glad you. I'm just glad you're such a fan. You can hear it
Yeah,
in your voice. You know what I
fucking
mean?
love it, yeah.
We need that sport there.
I love it, but I hate it. I love it because I think it's unbelievable, but I hate, not just hate it in the respects this is wrong, it's actually the wrong word, but in any motorsport is so dangerous. But whether BSB, we lose riders, or TT or Northwest or wherever, and we lose them around the world, and you end up losing people you get to know quite well. Like I know William didn't die at the William didn't pass.
No, he died at
Skerries, yeah. But I got to be fortunate for me. I got to be William's teammate in
Milwaukee Yamaha.
No, Tyco BMW.
Of course, yeah.
The year after, where he was with Guy Martin as well, and I can remember being at Almeria, and he sits in the fucking garage, and he's like this, head down, just sort of like keeping himself quiet. Don't want to. And I was like, no, fuck off. You are going to talk to me, because I could see he was almost not being arrogant, not being left,
just William Dunlop.
Dunlop.
Yeah.
And because the annoying bit with it is that me and William went back years ago to the Suzuki GSXR 750 Cup, and we was at Misano, and it was obviously when Robert was still about there. Fucking what a guy. And we was in hospitality, me and William, teammates, because we were riding for British Great GB as such then. And then a guy come up to hospitality and said, "Oh, Robert, can I have your autograph?" Like in his broken English, because he was Italian. And Robert basically said, "Why the fuck do you want my autograph? You want these young fucking lads, in his Irish." It was so, honestly, the week I spent with them, with Robert and William, is something I'll never forget.
Class.
And then with William, we kind of made him sort of start chatting at Almeria, and we just got on house on fire. Like he ate margarita pizza every night in Spain. Wouldn't have anything else. I said, try. He's like, I fucking fancy something different. I was like, why don't you try beef medallions? It's just beef, it's just fucking beef and chips. It's just nothing hidden in it, Oh, I like beef, I like chips, yeah. So go for it, fucking branch out. Waiter comes around, what would you like? Margarita pizza, please. Every night. So just fucking brilliant. Love it. And I think that's why I'm such I know Michael is perhaps a bit Marmite, but I'm a Michael Dunlop fan, because you can see the commitment in the drive he has, as well. So yeah, I love it. Love the TT. Fucking brilliant, isn't it? Fucking brilliant. That crash that guy had it.
Oh, that was a good one. I tell, like last time we had him on episode 71, I think I've mentioned that 4 times already now. But like you were pictured at the Northwest having a look round, you're like, I only went to have a look, and it was like I was kind of hoping this might happen, this might happen, but it never did.
Sheets aside for a second, what would it have to?
Oh no!
That was an episode 7. Was it episode 7?
Yeah,
71. Yeah.
But what would have to come together for you to want to do it?
£1 million.
I don't know.
I saw that last time.
Now, to be fair, Chrissy sat opposite and just went 10, 20.
Yeah, but no, forget the.
I can remember Dum's comment of going, "Fucking hell, I would do it for." I won't say free, because he should be paid a lot of money.
Thank you. I don't.
Yeah,
thank
exactly,
you.
Yeah, he should. Any rider around there that's capable of doing what you're capable of doing should be getting paid a decent amount of money. It's fact. And it infuriates me, the fact that people don't. But the problem is if you're not out on that bike riding it, your next competitor is going to be knocking on the door going, I'll ride it and I'll bring $5,000 or whatever. So how can you
compete with that?
It's fucking, and that's what financially drives the riders out of the sport, because it's what it is. But I think for me, the TT I would never be able to do, because I just wouldn't be fucking good enough, really. I wouldn't even be able to get anywhere near what, I'd be happy if I could do, if I could just be on my own with no one there, no cameras, shut road, and I could go around and do like 120 mile an hour, perhaps. Fuck knows. You might ride around and do 125 and go, fuck me, that was easy. It's not going to be. But until you've done it, you don't know. What it's like
a bit of an unknown, isn't it? Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So, but fuck me. If they said, Tom, we have to have you here racing it in anger, it would have to be a lot of money. But it's not about the money, is it?
No.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
I'll
Yeah.
swap lids we on the start line.
Yeah.
Sorry, throw it over, son.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Or do that really. I'll sign up so they can say, right, we'll pay you X amount. We'll go halves on it, but
Well-
you've got to do the riding.
We'll chat, son. We'll chat.
Yeah,
There'll
it's
be a
like
nice big, there'll be a nice
70-30,
big blank.
70-30.
Yeah, there'll be a nice big blank out with this episode. Now I'm like, what happened in that one? No, there's
Yeah.
a deal happening.
Deal
There's,
happening,
a
yeah.
deal happening. But no, I tell you, my final question, and I've been dying to find this one out.
Go on then.
You won the championship, and he announced to the world, "I've done this for Ollie. I've
Yeah.
done this for my family. Thank you to everyone." But the most important statement he said is to your wife. You best bring out the red panties. Did she, in fact, bust out the red knickers?
No.
Did your wife commit to that deal?
Unfortunately, no, because
That's it. No respect for it.
yeah, fucking divorce papers coming in the post. No, because I was fucking.
She was wearing blue. She was wearing blue, and it broke me heart there.
So emotionally and physically drained, it would have been a form of rape, I think, because I just wouldn't have been no good to fucking man the beast, really. I'd have had to have just said, look, out yourself. You know?
Hop on the champ, I'm off the kip. I
Yeah,
love
exactly. Yeah, knock yourself out. It might be the best one of all. No,
I've got a final question.
it. Go
for
for it while I...
You going on a night out, you can pick 5 people, dead or alive. Who would you?
That's
who
the
would
Chrissy
you have?
Rouse question.
Is it-
Perfect, mate. Perfect.
Oh, fucking! I feel like it's a tricky one because I don't know many celebrities. That Keanu Reeves come up to me in Suzuka, and so I said to my wife, "Stace, like this chap come up to me on the grid in Suzuka in Japan with a big entourage around him," and I was like, scruffy looking bloke, long hair, real scruffy fucker, and I was like, he come up to me and he was like, "Oh, good luck for the race, mate," and done chatting away, and I was like, "Yeah, all right, mate, cheers." Because I was starting the race and I was kind of getting in the zone a little bit, and I'm kind of like a racehorse. I'm just fucking blinkered.
Don't talk to me like
It wouldn't matter who come up to me,
Even John Wick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Well, then I was saying to her and I showed him a photo, and she's like, "Oh, please tell me you weren't rude." And I was like, "No, I wasn't rude. I said I had a quick brief chat, and that was that sort of thing." And I was like, "Who is he then?" She's like, "Oh," and it went on to tell me, and I was like, "For fuck's sake, yeah." What made no fucking odds really, but maybe if who's that? The Jennifer Aniston, is it? I always see photos of her popping up on Facebook with a nipple on, but I think it must be photoshopped. Could you photoshop a nipple on then?
Whoever
I
is.
still suppose you could do that, yeah.
Just keep it coming in, whatever. Your phone's listening to
Photoshopped or not.
you. When your phone listens to you, I'll be you're driving home. I'm just gonna be staring at my phone, going, "Come on. Come on." Let's
Jennifer Aniston.
I just say that into the phone a bit more.
Yeah, so I think I'd have perhaps some form of motorbike related people there, because we all talk about motorbikes, don't we?
Yeah.
So
it's
otherwise,
passion, yeah.
the conversation would be quite boring. And I think if you had the right people there, it would
Be messy.
fucking messy, really messy, because there is no limit to what bike racers would end up. We can talk each other into doing anything, can't you?
Yes.
So it's almost fatal. Like, exactly. So you talk each other into, you won't run over that police car. Yeah, I fucking will. Or you won't nick that police car.
Beer.
Yeah, exactly. I've been in that position too many times.
That's how he really lost his finger. It wasn't a bike crash at Thruxton. You won't chop your finger off. You watch
Fucking
this.
watch this.
You watch this cupcake.
Cool.
You used to be dangerous together.
Oh, fatal.
100%.
Fucking fatal. Yeah.
So we've got bike races, but come on, put it this way: Guy Martin picked Putin, Adolf Hitler, just to see where their mind was at. You know what I mean? Give us 5 names for Chrissy. You've got to give us 5 names. Bang them out.
I would say someone like Toprak Razakatoglu. Toprak,
Well
I think,
done.
would be good fun.
That's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I think he would be good fun. I think get a few beers or a few sherbets into him. I think Marquez would be good fun, because I think he'd be quite wild. If we're going to talk bike related, I think he'd be good fun. I think to
5's quite hard, isn't
it is hard. It is hard.
Chrissy always says 3, but I like 5.
Well,
This
go
is making
for 3. I was being a bit harsh there with 5.
I suppose
if I was going to stick down the bike route, who else would you say?
It doesn't have to be bike route. It could be anything.
No, it's easier, isn't it? But who else would be good fun?
I'm going to invite Wiltshire Cheshire Council.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the fucking Market Lavington Parish Council. There is a Facebook page for all listeners if you'd like to join and support me. Do not edit that bit out.
Grace will put it in the comments.
Go on Facebook, Market Lavington Parish Council.
Up the motocross track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, so I'll go with 2 because that's easier. Otherwise, we'll be here till fucking late at night, won't it? But if I think of another one, I'll come back to you, and then you can put it in the comment.
Put it in the page, in the Patreon bit, yeah.
But Jennifer Anderson would always be invited.
There you are. That's 3.
So go with her.
100%.
Could you imagine it?
Oh God.
Wow. Right. I don't know what you talk about, but just
you don't know. You got the 2 lads. You got the 2 lads to check on and just cover.
Trouble is as well, Marquez is quite a good looking lad, so he'd probably have fucking more chance than perhaps me. Obviously I'm married, but if I wasn't married, so maybe I wouldn't invite him actually.
I could see you sort of re-engineering that question in your head going, am I going to get fucked here for saying this or what?
So yeah, go for them 3.
Absolutely glad. Well, I think it's time to do a bit of housekeeping before the curtain drops on that side of things. But obviously, Chasin The Racin powered by OMG and Bennett's, but we also have another. This is, by the way, Grace's list here is quite extensive, so buckle in. I'm telling you that. So as you can see on the board, we've got Alan, who's the main sponsor. We've got Bennett's, and also we have a gap here. But if you want to get in touch on chasingtheracin@outlook.com, that is a direct link, not to me, but the important person, Grace Rouse, because I'm
Queen of the pod.
Queen of the pod, the owner and the queen. But this episode, we have individual sponsors for each episode. But yet again, this month, we are sponsored by Timothy Adams. You ever heard of them?
No.
Well, they are Cheshire-based. Is that Tapley?
Tarpawley,
Tapley, whatever.
That's up near Alton Park.
That's Alton Park.
They are, you see.
I think there's actually another way of saying that. I've said that to someone local before and had the piss taken out of us. But we'll go with Tarpawley.
Tarpawley, but they do steel frame buildings, concrete. And,
oh, fuck me.
You know your barn out there.
Made the beat. Get in touch.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well,
it's a very appropriate sponsor, isn't it?
It is a hell of an appropriate sponsor. But on a total side, one of my sponsors, EFL Cardiff, they do all that as well.
Oh, fuck me, I got 2 barns there.
Yeah, I do. But for this purpose, it's definitely Timothy Adams. But thank you so much for coming on board for this episode. Also, with Christmas coming, God, Grace, you are far too good at this. All our merchandise is up on live on the internet now. So she's getting the Facebook page sorted. Now, I may have said that wrong, but please keep an eye on the Instagram page because all the hassle she went through of reinstalling that, everything got
fucking
hacked.
Shit houses there, aren't they?
You're not wrong.
Total and utter wanker. He is a fucking oxygen thief, whoever that
is, but
is.
But the thing is, I know we keep talking about it every episode, but it's right. It's the memories she's lost. She built that, she built that from the ground up, and all that hard work gone, and it was close.
The problem is how do you stop it happening again?
Oh, you just triple vault everything.
Do you?
Oh, she's gone. Put it this way, that her phone is now Fort Knox. You know what I mean? You can't get it.
Yeah, it's just horrendous, really.
But she's been working her backside off. She's got everything up for going on the merchandise side of things. So that's hats, caps, mugs, travel mugs, bags and key rings. We also have the Chasin The Shine, which has now been available at AKA Automotive Leeds, WSC Performance, and that's an online Needham's Motorcycle Shop in Doncaster, which will be very, very soon. And of course, she's been this is really nice touch. So Quick Shifter, who are like coffee partner, they're coming up with a limited edition Chrissy blend. And there's only going to be 69 bags available. Now, obviously, that was his race number. And so there's going to be like releases, like not every year, but when it comes into stock. But these limited edition bags, she's got the design, and that's going to be up to Grace when she releases that. But we've seen it.
Yeah,
I'll show you off air. It looks.
I like coffee.
I tell you what, that is actually. Take a couple of bags with you.
Oh, go on, then.
100%. But then, obviously, we have a message from Bennett, and because he's got a soothing voice than me, you're doing this part. There you go.
Yeah, so obviously Bennett's been involved.
Look at you don't even need the phone.
Bennett's been involved with the podcast for quite a while now, and you'll know obviously at all the BSBs do bike social members get access to various experiences, so they can be on the pit wall and stuff like that. So you can now sign up and access to be a bike social member via the Chasin The Racin website. So if you're going on to look at the merchandise or looking at Chasin the Shine or any of the Chasin The Racin products, you can also become a bike social member straight from the website as well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Bennett's, to be fair, are they put a lot in, don't they? To BSB, all of it. So yeah,
Very
if they're supporting I give them a lot. Bike Social. Michael, do you know Michael? I give him so much abuse, and he takes it well. But just to wind him up
till he cracks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, both.
Yeah.
But they're a really good bunch for sure.
Oh, fantastic! But I think there's only one thing left to say. Congratulations. There's loads of things to say.
Yeah.
Congratulations on winning the championship. Good luck for next year. Well done for signing for Honda. And more importantly, thank you for letting us on your drive.
No, I'll get the red diesel out so you can get back now.
please, I'm well up for that. Was that Steve Caffin who did your drive?
Yes, IMS, yeah.
What a man he is, man. What a man he is.
He
Give him a quick shout at the end. I know he probably doesn't listen to the podcast, but what a gentleman Steve Caffin
is. He did do a good job, to be fair, because I'm not the easiest where I'm like, yeah, it's all ready, and he turns up and he's like, for fuck's sake, it's a lot more work than
more grade, isn't it?
And I'm like, you quoted. No, he's a good bunch, really good crew. But no, thank you for having me. More than welcome anytime, and I think, like you say, we need the podcast to be a big success, because this was kind of like the start of, almost for me, the start of many podcasts that kind of, without being nasty, try to jump on the bandwagon. But this is, like you say, the OG. Chasin The Racin's the OG, so we need to support it.
Well, thank you very much. No, Chris will be over the moon here. That's all.
Yeah, thanks very much.
No, honestly. Right. Well, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
See you later on. Thank
Cheers,
you very
guys.
much.